just turned out to be, I don't remember. It wasn't swell.
Well, I mean, not to dive into it too much, but that definitely, I'd never really seen that in real life. I knew it existed, and that was eye-opening for me, you know what I mean? Just what happened later that night.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to go into that because it's, you know, we're on now. But, yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, don't drink Japanese whiskey and smoke. I don't know. It was good times.
I had fun, though, in Oceanside, man. That whole day just ripping around, you know, going to the beach together and shit. Yeah. It was fun. That little sandwich joint that we all met you at.
Yeah, cold with beer.
Yeah, shit was good.
It's been going for a while. I still miss it sometimes. I miss the whole rides and just the beach thing and being able to go out and do that. Not living in the country too much.
Yeah, have you had that spot yet where it's like, because I imagine when you were living in Carlsbad before, right? Yeah. You just jump on the bike. You know, I'm just gonna go cruise the beach real quick. Yeah. Just like we have our Dallas, like downtown Dallas. Sometimes it's fun to cruise through some of the party neighborhoods or whatever, or our bridges that go across the highways and shit. They're pretty fun to cruise, but just being able to rip to the beach real quick, maybe go get a you know, I don't know, like if you're into coffee or some shit on, you know.
Yeah, I live a half a mile off Tamarack right there, so I literally could get on the bike. Within 2 seconds, I was on PCH and just rip right down to San Diego or up north or wherever I wanted to go and never get on the freeway. It was just be back home on a loop.
Yeah.
Now when I leave my driveway, I got to watch out for potholes and big farm trucks. And
you're still like out in the country though, so you can still pretty much just like ride. Like,
what do you ride to now out there?
I live right off Lake Palestine, so kind of like right around it.
For real?
Ride in. I kind of live south of Tyler, I guess. I'm still trying to learn the area a little bit, so I kind of stay in the country roads and just kind of ride the back roads. Yeah. And being not from here, originally area, I just kind of learning the place now, so I'm still just pretty much riding the back. I get lost. That's what I do. Just drive around and get lost.
What about you? What's your thing to do when you jump on the bike out? And
usually, like the first thing is we're pretty close. We're somewhat close to downtown Nashville, and so it takes a good 30 minutes to actually get away from everything to where you can actually get to some good riding. So usually, the days we ride, we just either jump and go towards Chattanooga because there's some good riding down there. Yeah. Or if we want to go all the way to the other side of town, you can get on the Trace. Trace is fun, but it's
the Natchez Trace or something. I want to ride that, but I heard it's like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, all the way. I think the most you get is 55, and they're pretty anal about it. I think I've passed a state trooper, whoever patrols it, going 57 before, and they'll have their lights flashing and shit at me. And then if you get a ticket there, it's like a federal ticket. It's not just like a regular ticket. So
when I went there to visit them, though, you have to do it once. At least go. There's some of the scenic shots you get up on top of them. I'm not sure where it is, the mountains we done through there, and the Civil War spots to stop at. It is. Don't get lost. Your mind will track there when you're riding because you'll just some of the beautiful sights. And they keep it very well clean and maintained.
Yeah, it's similar to Blue Ridge Parkway. It doesn't have the overlooks and stuff. It's not that nice, but it's definitely a similar type road.
Yeah. So. I don't know, man. We're our big group. This is our last. Far ride, and now we can kind of. We're doing the Pacific Northwest in June. And so now we're going to have the opportunity to plan our next trip. It's going to be all right, we have 2 weeks to do stuff. Now we can stay, we can only go 1,000 miles away, maybe to Phoenix, and then hub out of Phoenix and go ride the entire state of Arizona, in depth, or Nashville, and then ride everything around it. You know what I mean? So it's going to open up a lot of doors for doing things like that, because right now we're blasting down the highway, or maybe this one road that's going to also continue to move us in a direction. So, we don't get to enjoy as much.
At least you do in the Northwest in June, not in May.
Yeah. How much different? What was it, just rained out or what?
Oh, we went to, we did from Nashville, he came to Nashville, we were going up to Montana and then dropping back down to Utah and then Idaho. We wound up having to reroute it because of some bike issues and other stuff. But we were going towards the end of May. So we already knew it was going to be borderline, there's still a bunch of snow in places. We knew Beartooth Highway would probably still be not cleared and shit. Yeah. But I think they had some extra late snow come through there, and it was it was cold, and there was snow and shit everywhere.
We couldn't even cross the cap to the mountain. There was snow. The roads we had planned to go, we had to turn around on, and we couldn't. We had to pretty much detour our whole northern trip.
Yeah, and then we were supposed to end up in Glacier, and because my wife and daughter were supposed to be flying up with us, and then my daughter broke her foot, and so they couldn't come because we were going to do Glacier. And so our whole trip it was still a good time. We found some good camping spots in Wyoming.
I'm worried about that, because we're going to be going up into Washington and kind of up towards Spokane and across. and like I think we're going to Missoula or something like that.
Okay.
And then cutting back across Idaho, like at like towards so like zigzagging. You know
I think y'all were kind of doing the opposite. We were doing like similar thing, but just the reverse route.
So I'm like hoping that we don't have that problem either because we're leaving June 1st, I believe.
I did at the end of June when I did mine on the Harley up through there. I went through Nevada, then to Utah, and through Idaho and around. It wasn't so bad, but it can get.
I think ours was they did get like a later snow than it was expected, like a weekend before we left. So,
dude, last year at the camp out at the end of April, half of the country was covered in snow. There were people leaving like, I think anything above like the, I don't know, so it goes 40 and then 70, I believe, is the next major highway that goes across. Goes through Kansas and everything.
Names of highways.
I think it is 70 because I think 70 goes to St. Louis and Indianapolis and all that shit. Pretty much everything north of that was just covered in snow. Yeah. But we still had people coming from everywhere, so it was they earned it last year for sure.
Yeah, but it was fun. I think we actually found some cool campgrounds that. Was it Outlaw? Am I saying that wrong?
Yeah, we found some
Outlaw campground in Casey, Wyoming. I didn't even know it existed. It was. We should have stayed there the whole week, just out riding there.
Yeah, because we had to completely detour, we wound up finding some really cool spots that we didn't plan. Because I'd for the most part planned out the trip, or had a good idea of what campgrounds we were going to camp out.
Yeah.
And then with all the snow, we had to like completely like reroute everything, and we looked into some pretty badass spots. Like,
so I think I brought my fishing pole. I was planning on fishing, and the lake was frozen completely over. We couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've said it a lot of times on podcasts lately. We've been going east so much the last like year and a half now that I want to get back out in those big fucking open vast valleys and shit like that and ride some more of that stuff. So many trees out here, dude.
Yeah, I think that was a little issue though. I think at parts of it, he can help me that I'm wrong pretty bad with memory. Is it through Nebraska or something? It was like at some points I was like, can I at least see one tree?
Yeah,
it was like hours on hours just plain nothingness. I was like.
I love that shit.
Yeah, I like
with the wind. We were literally riding like.
I like going out. Obviously, I've lived east my whole life, but I like going out west because you don't get the scale.
Yeah.
East that you do out west because you can fucking see forever and like the mountains and shit. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm fucking ready to get out. You know, I got the Dyna, so hopefully that'll be on the road next week, and then after that, I got to start on this bagger, and then I got a million fucking helmets to paint, and I really just want to be. It's like I should have most of my work done before we go on our trip in June. So I'm looking forward to go on the trip, but I'm also looking forward to the fact that kind of caps off like a hard first half of the year of work.
Yeah. And plus your mind's not on something back here.
Yeah. So I'm excited, man. You got any plans? Y'all plan on doing any rides this year at all? Anywhere?
I just want to finish my bike. So
yeah, that's the priority right now. As soon as he gets done with his, I want to start on my
Road Glide
as well.
I think
I gotta get rid of some bikes, I guess, one day. But well, no, I keep saying that, and I end up not doing it. I don't think we have any big plans. We usually try to do one.
If I can steal Emma's bike, I'm gonna ride Emma's bike to the camp out and some stuff like that. But no, I don't. I'm gonna do a trip this year. I do at least one trip. I think last year I was able to do two trips, but I'll get at least one trip in this year. So I don't actually have it legit planned, but. I made it like 3 years ago. I made a point. I'm doing at least a 1 week long trip every year until I can't fucking ride anymore. And so I'm not going to quit on it this year.
Have you done Sturgis yet?
No.
That's a good one.
I started to last year.
We were talking about that today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely will this year.
Sturgis is definitely one of those trips, man, that like, I don't know. It's like going back to the motherland. It's like paying homage to the motorcycle gods, if you will. Yeah. And it's got everything you could ever want there. Good riding, good partying.
Yeah. I've been there. Like, I took a trip there. Was it 2 years ago? I went up to like Montana, Wyoming, but it wasn't during like it was during like it was June, I think, end of June. So it wasn't during like Sturgis and the event.
I don't think I've been to Sturgis since.
But I gotta go. I haven't been to the actual like where everything's going on.
So. Yeah, last rally I was at was I don't know 04, 06. I can't remember what year it was now. The year of the big hailstorm that destroyed my bike. Year. No, but I had like golf. I don't even use every year, but yeah, I don't remember what year it was. The last one I went. That tells you how long ago it's been.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
There's certain like areas where like thunderstorms just happen, and it right there where Sturgis is, like kind of in the Wyoming area.
Yeah.
It seems like it always just builds up heavy right there, and just sweeps across, the Black Hills every year. It seems like.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I stayed I camped out close to Mount Rushmore the year I did it, and then from there I went up to like Devil's Tower, and it was great the first part of the day, and it was great once I got to Devil's Tower, but there was a huge thunderstorm in between. I got like soaking wet, so just like a random ass storm. But the rest of the time it was
Yeah.
We'll see. Then we always try to do something.
Star named Christina Lynn.
What's that?
You could probably find one. I don't know one. But that seems like it would fit the formula perfectly.
Yeah.
But we always do some trip every year. We try to make it year. We found out last year that we were not adventure bike riders.
Yeah, that was cute. We're at Dave's shop, and you have these fucking huge ass bikes. I think y'all were either about to go on the trip.
Right before we went.
So what'd you realize about this trip?
I realized, and I'll speak to mine, 'cause he has a whole different spill. Okay. He's a little taller, a little bigger than I am. The bike. The bike he rode, I could not ride, so I had to buy the 890, which I still have. I still have the bike, so haven't got rid of it yet. But I had to buy it because I just couldn't handle it off-road. We did not grow up riding dirt bikes. So our first dirt bikes were these two monster adventure bikes.
Yeah.
Well, we realized we had these plans to go off-road. Well, 90% of America is paved now. Yeah. So we ended up spending all our time off-roading because, like I said, the snow, we couldn't get to the trails, so we wanted to do off-roading. And then when we got there, we should have had like a 400 EXC, we could have had a blast on. And then we had some bike trouble. We won't explain that one. But we had some bike. So we were at the same time, we were like, well, we didn't want to get hurt and break our arm out here. Yeah. Or wreck the bike and couldn't get back to the freeway to get home because we still had a time frame. He had to get to work.
The whole trip felt like a compromise. Like, literally, like, you spend, like, especially before you get to, like, Wyoming and Montana, you spend 95% of your trip on pavement, so you wish you had, like, a road glide or something. And then you get in the dirt, you have this big, heavy adventure bike, which is still, like, super capable, but then you have all your gear and shit on there. And so you can't, like, go crazy full out on the dirt, somewhat because of our, like, skill in the dirt. But, like, so it just felt like a huge compromise the whole time. So,
well, I was talking with Danger Dan a couple weeks ago, and he was on the podcast, and he's been doing that. And I forget what the name of this company is, but they set up all these different trails through, like, Colorado and Utah and all these places. And they're kind of, like, they're set up so we're like, hey, this trail's kind of like a beginner novice, and it goes up. And, it's like you hit these checkpoints and shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really have a huge desire to ride on dirt either. I always was interested in the adventure bike for more of the international travel, meaning like, hey, I might have to ride in dirt for a little bit, And
it could have got that way. If we had someone that actually knew what they were doing that was with us, we probably had a little bit more fun. I don't know the word, because we still had a blast doing it. We just realized that the amount of money we put into doing the trip to be on an adventure bike, we could have done it on.
Yeah, it was still fun. Like, but if I was going to do it, I wouldn't do that in one trip. I'd either do one trip where I take a road glide and stick to the pavement, or like I'll haul some like enduro or smaller dirt bike up there and just like find a camp spot and fuck around in the same spot for like a week. So I would do one or the other versus like combining them. So,
but I still haven't come to Jesus about selling my KTM. It still sits there. He sold his. I love riding it. It's just, to be honest with you, since I got to Texas, I don't think it's been turned on.
I rode it last time I was
here. Yeah, well, that says who rode it last. I think he's rode the dyno more times than I rode it last as well, too, though. Yeah. So it's just been kind of the way it is. But yeah, I just realized real quick, like I've got, before the Harley Adventure even came out, we got into buying them and doing it. I just felt really fast. I bit off something more than I could chew. My experience
Weren't y'all already doing some kind of cross-country riding in general, like on the Harleys before you even jumped onto the KTMs?
I'd taken the dyno to Montana and back. I'd taken the dyno to like Colorado and back. Like, because what I started trips on was like the dyno I had. So I was already doing like cross-country trips before we even got there.
Yeah, because I remember when I first met you a couple years back, you were telling me about how you had done a lot of different trips across the country and things like that.
Yeah, that's kind of was our. We've now been lucky to do them together. Brothers going across the last year or so, we've been trying to keep that up. But beforehand, we were both crossing each other's path. He would go do a route, and I would see it, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that. And I would do an opposite version of it because he was on the East Coast, I was on the West Coast. Yeah. So we kind of did the bypassing of each other on these trips and kind of enjoyed it. And not to say I'm a loner kind of person. I like being alone on some of my trips, and it was peaceful that we didn't have to do it together. We could meet somewhere and we could go on our trip.
I don't know the fuck y'all like our brothers, and because I can't stand my brother for too much time. He starts talking and I'm like, shut the fuck up, man. There's stupid shit.
Don't get me wrong, we have our moments, but we have four of us. And, And to be honest with you, I don't know if we have a relationship like all the brothers. I hear that from a lot of people, and I say You know, we had our younger kids, but once we got adults and got married, we've been pretty close.
Yeah, we get on each other's nerves, obviously, but for the most part, we all get along pretty well. And
so you got 2 other brothers as well?
Yes.
Where are they at? Are they not in the bike stuff at all? Or
we have one younger brother that's in Utah. He's had a couple bikes. He's not like a huge biker, but he's had a couple bikes. And then our youngest brother, I don't think he's ever had.
Yeah, where are y'all in the age range of this? Are y'all the 2 middles?
No, I'm the oldest.
He's 1, 2, and then we have 2 younger.
Yeah, I'm the oldest. He's second. Then we have Luke's the third, and Andrew's the fourth.
Do you have one of those brothers that, like, you know, he's just a fuck up?
Well, we wasn't going to say that on air.
I feel like if you have 4 siblings, or, you know, totally 4 siblings, there's always got to be one that's
Let's just say there's one of us that's not married and never has been married and probably never will be married.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Or that's not necessarily a good thing, but that's not a...
But there's a reason why that is.
I kind of wish he'd come on there and be like, I got engaged yesterday, fucker.
He probably would. He'll probably call and text him a little bit.
But yeah, we're like, I think it's 6.5 years apart, so we're pretty close together for like 4
Y'all are
of us.
the 2 oldest?
Yeah.
How old is Andrew? Am I that close to Andrew?
You're 3.5 years older than I am, and then I think there's 2 years of Luke and a year to Andrew. Okay. So
I don't even know how old anyone is. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I was 13 when my brother was born. And, you know, I was, you know, already kind of becoming, you know, doing my own shit. I didn't want to, you know.
I think as kids, we were that way, though. We weren't too much hanging out close together as kids that I can remember. We did our own kids. We didn't actually become close until after we became adults, I guess, after we moved out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then because then our parents split up, so we were at different locations, and you lived
2
with
Christmases.
you live with friends for the most part.
I lived with my high school crew.
So,
I didn't even live at home hardly.
Yeah.
I moved out and lived with my friends most of the time.
Yeah. So wait, are y'all all from Nashville area, like born and raised?
We grew up in Northeast Mississippi. So
okay.
And then he joined the Marines and pretty much went to California pretty quick, and then I think my 2 younger brothers lived with you for a while.
Yeah, my 2 younger brothers live with me. So my wife pretty much, I was gone a lot, so parents raised my 2 younger brothers. They were like 13 or so when they moved in with me. I don't know.
But yeah, I've been in the Southeast pretty much my entire life. So
nice.
And I've been around the world.
Yeah. Fucking living the dream.
So one nightmare at a time.
So when did all this camera shit come into play with you? Like, where did that kind of stem from?
So I've always doing photos and shit. And obviously Instagram started forever ago, and I kind of did it there. And actually, there were a couple of guys in Tennessee. We were kind of going out and trying to learn how to stunt. I fucking my bike up, and pretty quick, I learned I was never going to get anywhere with that.
Yeah.
And so I started picking up a camera to kind of started shooting, and it just kind of kept escalating from there. And obviously, you pick up a new hobby and you start pushing yourself to get better at it. And then he was working with Lucky Days at the time, and I had a chance to kind of jump on there and start helping them out with stuff and just continually practicing and getting better at shit. And then
because you and your wife would do those trips across the country and go shooting all different types of, you were telling me about that bridge. It's off in the middle of nowhere in Arizona. And I passed by where I could have went and got it, but it was kind of after I was there at Lucky Days with you already, so I couldn't go back. But yeah, so the whole thing just kind of, how long has it been since you started doing all that stuff?
That was probably, I don't know exactly. It was probably 4 years ago. I started actually legit doing photography, and then video stuff has only been probably a year and a half or so. But actually, I enjoy shooting more. I enjoy doing the photography more, but actually in terms of editing and kind of getting in my little office or room there and kind of getting in the groove and doing it, I enjoy doing video more. I feel like it's a much steeper learning curve. I'm still having to learn a lot, but
the video thing, man, trust me, I'm beating a dead horse on the podcast when it comes to that shit, because I want to do it so bad, and I have everything to do it. I have all the equipment. I have a computer capable of editing, 4K video, no problem.
Yeah.
I just, man, I have ideas of how I want to shoot things, but I don't have the time to do the shots. I don't have time to set it up to get that shot of me, putting the bolt on, because I don't have a guy here at the shop that can hold the camera. And I don't know, I feel weird when I have someone videoing me.
Yeah.
Like when you watch Ryan Cruzy's YouTube thing, it's he can just get on the fucking camera and just riff and go and have a good time, and he's in a group
natural at it,
I would freeze up around all my friends, and I wouldn't be myself.
Probably one of those things you would get used to.
I hope so, yeah.
And that's I wasn't great at this shit when I started anyway, because I think I had the idea of like doing the little interview series I'm doing, and I kept like, we were always going to start with his bikes.
Yeah.
And I kept putting it off. It's like, I don't fucking know enough. It's just going to be like a shitty ass video. And he was we were out there doing some work one time, and I always like, oh, we don't have time to do it. We'll do it next trip. And one time he was like, no, fuck it, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And we sat in his
That's kind of what happened, because he always
yeah.
talks about stuff and he calls me, so I always kind of encourage the madness, because I have no skills at any of this stuff y'all talking about. I just act like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But he came by.
You're a great model.
I'm a good
You're a
model.
great model, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Best looking brother out of all of us.
You do look cool, yeah.
I appreciate that, man. I give out hugs later.
Yeah.
But he come by, and I think we just came back, literally the first video from the desert, right? Camping with the girls.
Yeah.
When I say girls, the little girls and your wife, right?
I actually think we filmed your video before we did that. I just didn't release. I didn't release the first.
I don't
one
remember.
until
Lily
I had,
walked
like, 2 or
back
3
in, and
filmed,
I
so
one night, and I put on a pair of pants and a shirt. It's like, let's go do this junk. Push the bikes out of the garage, and here we went at it, and we were just going for it.
that's the least planned out one. It actually gets done better than anything. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like that whole concept of like, if you go play golf, the first time you ever play, like you might do decent once you kind of understand the swing. And if you do good at it, then you'll go back and you'll try to learn it, and you'll fuck up all that natural kind of ability.
Yeah.
They call that the benefit of the uncluttered mind.
Oh, there you go.
Is that what
I would have never got that one.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing.
That's deep over there.
Sometimes you'll hear about it with like a rookie quarterback sometimes, where they just dumb it down, and he doesn't. I don't know, and it just
That makes sense. He just reacts.
yeah,
just, like,
it's
thinking
basically a
about it.
reaction
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
and it's don't overthink it. But yeah, that's a whole thing. The benefit of the uncluttered mind.
That's exactly what has happened to me, or I feel like that's what happened with photography, because that was kind of a thing for me with that, where at first I liked it, and then I got so deep into it that I didn't like anything I was doing. I was way more harder on myself, and then that basically what happened with video, man. Like I just didn't know what the fuck to do on it, And I like your channel because you went a completely different route than everybody else is doing YouTube motorcycle content.
Yeah, I like at Daytona, several people were like, "Oh, you're a YouTuber," and I was like, "Fuck, no." But I mean, I am obviously, but like, I don't want to. I'm not trying to make some like vlog or something where I ride around. Like, I'm trying to make something that's like legit, like content and shit. So
I fucking hate. Oh,
I
they're
don't
so
mind 'em.
fucking boring, dude.
Which ones?
The vlog
Like,
videos.
oh,
I don't mind
yeah.
vlogs, like if it's like if you're working on your bike, hanging with your friends, going to bike night, things like that, or you get some riding shots of maybe someone else catching a couple little B-roll shots of your bike riding. I love that. But the helmet thing and the fucking talking in the thing while someone's riding down the road, I'm like, fucking shoot me, man.
You gotta
That
add
shit is-
Yeah, some of them are pretty.
gotta add a clickbait thumbnail with it,
yeah.
So,
I wrecked my bike, and then you find out that it fell over.
yeah.
It's like, get the fuck
They
out
got to
of here.
dramatize it to make their little thing work. I think.
Yeah, I
don't know.
guess.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, the whole way the YouTube thing works, if you want to play the game right, then you got to get the thumbnails, you got to get the title, you got to post at a certain time of the week. There's so much that goes into it, but you can make a lot of fucking money on YouTube.
Yeah, when he started talking to me, that was months, year prior to him actually doing it. He was sitting around and go over stuff, and I don't know nothing about photography or videos. When he was speaking his
Lingo
or handing this, these things, I'm saying, okay, yeah, buddy, sure, I'll be supportive all you want. But it came out, and then he had his idea of it, and I wasn't a big YouTube watcher at the time. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it, and it just struck off, and I was like, that's. It's pretty fun.
Well, it's interesting. I watched the one that you did with Not Interesting Ben, ironically.
Yeah, we've had several comments last 2 days, and they were like, they'll say something to Ben. I'm like, I don't know who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Or him or me.
I thought you were introducing yourself at first. For some reason, I wasn't paying attention to the other guy's name being.
Well, I don't think we
Ben.
mentioned his handle till the very end, so people probably thought
Yeah, I
it was
just didn't know. So when you said that, I was like, okay. Let's go with
Yeah,
that.
but I think it's a cool concept, just kind of checking out all these different bikes. Like when you did the one with Justin, you did the FXR from, what was it, Speed Dealer?
Speed Dealer, that bike was
sick.
Yeah.
That was at Sturgis this past year.
One of my favorites was our buddy Brendan from Boston.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that dude. He was super solid. He was over in the Smokies I think he was just down there with his dad or maybe some friends just riding around, and I drove over and we did it like that Fontana Dam that's close to Tail of the Dragon. We just went up there and filmed one day, and we had a good time until we got like dumped on, because I actually drove over there to do it, and then we left because like some storm was rolling in, and I was leaving, and actually wound up having to back because you get back in there. It's great riding roads, but it's all like it's really hard to get around and get out of that area.
Yeah.
And it was like crazy. Some like trees were falling, power lines were like down on the road. Like I had to like backtrack, and actually at one point to get out, me and like this other dude were like using chains to like pull trees out of the road so everybody could go. And I was in a car, and this dude left on his bike. He's got a pretty nice bike, and I was worried he got caught in all that shit. But
is he one of the dudes that rode with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Him and Taylor. They also gave
I forget their names. Like they're different. Like I remember the guys what they look like face wise and stuff, but I forget which name is which. But
yeah, he's a guy his head cracked or whatever. His pipe.
That's right.
Justin,
and then Justin
set him up with a welder in Arkansas, and that was on their way to the camp out all the way from Boston.
Well, being kind of out of where you're at in Nashville, like you're in a good hub to be able to go because you do like a 350-mile radius.
yeah,
You're
pretty
down there
central,
hitting,
and I can get anywhere. Yeah,
I mean, it's like it's quite a good little spot there.
I
And
get
considering how many miles you've probably done this year. We were talking about you got 100,000 miles traveling around this year.
Yeah.
the last since this time last year. Yeah, on like the 3 bikes, and like we have a truck we just bought in like last May maybe, and I'm gonna roll over 30,000 on the way home, and like
Damn.
I put $5,000 I put $5,000 on that bike for sure, but 5,000 miles on the bagger from when I bought it from Tommy in into July until we tore it down like beginning of October, and not to mention the miles like on the KTM and shit like that. So
Shit adds up, man. I bought that Jeep out there, and it sucks because I got a long fucking time to pay that thing, and I'm like racking up miles on that motherfucker. So I'm like, I need to get one of these bikes done. It's nice outside. I need to stop driving this Jeep everywhere. But like New York and back, fucking Sturgis and back, Milwaukee and back, fucking Florida, for the down south camp out and back. It's like it's been it racks up quick.
Yeah.
I got it with 30,000 miles on it, and I'm at 55 right now, and I haven't even had it a year yet. So
Same difference,
yeah. I'm like, fuck.
Maybe gas prices go down for you a little bit.
gas was cheaper. Like I think in Tennessee on the way down here, I don't think I stopped once, and it was under $4. And we just filled up a second ago. It was like $3.75 or something.
Yeah, we're like $3.50 to $3. Some places like $3.99.
Yeah.
If you
I just need to buy a small vehicle. That's my problem.
Yeah,
my big diesel.
Yeah, good times on those. But yeah, so like with the why did you kind of move towards the video other than just doing more of the photography? Because you kind of do both when you do these little features.
Yeah. So it was 100%. I started I was trying to find a way to like get my photography out there in like a useful way, because like Instagram's not really for photography anymore. And even like the photography posts, like if you do a normal like landscape photo and post it like the shit I just posted of Ben's bike, like that isn't meant for Instagram. They're trying to force you into like the portrait stuff, like the 4:5 ratio and stuff like that. So anyway. And then you put shit out there, and all people do is like fucking take it and use it for like to make money for themselves or whatever. So I was like, okay, what's a way I can actually like push myself and like get more practice in and do more things, but also like it benefit me. Yeah. And so we've been throwing around this idea of like doing like the spotlight things, and I was like, well, like that's a perfect way I can still do my photography and use that, but also start getting into video and learning that and doing that. And so it kind of went from there.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. The video thing is. Like when I go do a shoot a bike, like Jaden's been with me before. I got fucking camera, all the light stands. I just like the flash vibe. Get a little bit more moody image. I know a lot of that can be done in post production, but I'm not really good at Photoshop as much as I am good at getting a decent photo out of the camera first. But the problem with doing that is it ruins you, in my opinion, because now I feel like every time I shoot, it has to be that way instead of just pulling the camera out at a random spot and getting some dope photos. You know what I mean?
95% of my stuff is natural light.
Yeah.
Like, I think I had some speed flashes initially when I started that I used some, but I quit using those pretty quick. Like now that we created like our own little studio at the house, and I have like some lighting there, but for the most part, like everything I do is shooting natural light.
One of my favorite photographers that I kind of, when it came to shooting people, I've always liked his style is Tim O'Keefe. He actually, the Honky Tonk Honey chick there, he shot that, and I got some more of his work downstairs on some posters. But he's one of those guys too, where he only does natural light, and it just fucking looks so good. You know what I mean? And the thing is, like when we do the camp out, I've always kind of walked around with a camera, and it's always cool to just kind of get the candid shit of just people interacting, having a good time. And not this past year in Sturgis, but the year before, I walked around a lot with the camera and got a lot of that stuff. But for some reason, this past year, I've been way more I don't know what the word is. It's kind of shy, I guess.
Yeah.
Walking around with the camera in the big open spaces with everybody around. You know what I mean? I just kind of feel douchey.
You don't want to be that person like sticking your camera in somebody's face, especially with how many people walk around with cameras now. Like we were at Daytona and I did the video and shoot with Not Very Interesting Ben, and then Big Trouble pretty much the same time, and his will be like the next one. But like, Emma was like, "Oh, you should take your bike to the show." I was like, "No, I just want to go enjoy the show." And then they're also going to be like, "You're not going to get any good photos because it's so crammed in."
Yeah.
And so I just want to go and enjoy it versus like sticking a camera.
It's on
in
that
face.
same note. We're actually with the camp out. We're adding a show to it, which is going against some of the things we never wanted to do, but this kind of performance bike industry is blowing up, and everybody wants to do shows, and shows mean a lot to people for some fucking reason now. But when we did the FXR show in Sturgis last year, they invited a lot of different guys like myself and other guys that are kind of in the FXR world, if you will, which I'm not really as much as I used to be, but opportunity to be a judge was awesome. But what they did at the FXR show was I picked my favorite bike and made a trophy and gave him that bike. So there was never like one bike that was maybe the overall winner. Yeah. It was like, hey, and so what we've done with this is we got all these different brands together. They're going to make their own trophy to give away their pick of said bike. Okay. Yeah. And we're going to we got this big kind of grassy knoll type area where we're going to try to set up the bikes in a way so that you can shoot them. Or get cool photos with the bikes and not feel like they're kind of in a parking lot. You know what I mean? Because that's one thing that's cool about Mama Tried. Did you go to that?
No.
Jaden, you were at Mama Tried, right? Yeah, your balls are out. That's right.
The one that just happened like a week ago, or like the one into last year.
Well, we went to.
I didn't go to.
the one in
Doesn't
January.
matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
It was December.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was December.
We were actually in Oregon, so we didn't get to go.
I thought it was
No, it was before we even did the fucking sweater podcast.
Okay. Well, then, December.
Yeah. So I felt like that show, similar to Born Free, like they set up the bikes in a way that it looks badass to take pictures of it. They're still close together, but you have room to kind of get around them.
Setup,
yeah. Instead of like, I hate when they fucking put bikes back to back to back in a line, and you got to like stand in between a bike to look at the exhaust. Really, and I'm like, yo, that doesn't look cool. It doesn't show off the bike. You can't get far away and kind of really appreciate the stance of a bike. You know what I mean?
Mama Tried, they were like legit staging the bikes. Yeah.
And trust me, if I had a way to make some kind of platform stages and knew how many bikes were going to be there, that'd be so dope. But I want it to be fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I also like the idea that like if one dude just builds a badass bike that everybody loves, he might walk away with 20 fucking trophies. You know? Man. So we're not going to be like, hey man, which bike did you like? I don't want anybody to talk to each other. You go out there, you pick your fucking bike, and when we get on stage, we'll say who it is. Yeah. And like this guy might win 5 trophies, maybe, or
maybe not.
I'm probably going to lean more towards picking a bike that has a badass paint job that I like. So, and one guy like Justin, my machinist, might pick something that's a little bit more in the aesthetics that he likes, and so on and so on. So it's fun, you know.
Very cool. Yeah,
that's a better thing. Cause we were talking about shows last night. I think when he got there I hate going to shows. I hate entering my bike in shows. Just by the time you got to be there 2 hours early to enter your bike, then you're sitting there all day. You can't leave. You're stuck watching your bike stand around. Everyone's like, man, just.
So we're gonna do ours on Saturday at 4 p.m. and it'll go till 8, and at 8 it'll start getting dark. We'll hit the stage, we'll do the giveaways, and it'll kick off the night party that will.
But you're at a campsite, so you're just coming there and you hanging out the whole time. You're coming there too.
You can still go out and fuck off all day, ride, have a good time, and then as you get back, then you can set up the bikes and we'll all have a good time and appreciate the whole situation. There's a lot of people that were building bikes that they didn't quite get them done for Daytona, and just to give them a great opportunity to showcase the bike that they were building over the winter. We wanted to make the camp out an opportunity for them because it's pretty much Daytona, Born Free, and then Sturgis are only the real main shows coming up that people are going to really build a bike for. I mean, I want to go to Laconia very bad, but it's just the wrong time of year for me to get there, and that's far as fuck. So
there's a lot of bikes getting built, seems like lately, that are just amazing. I don't know if this is because I'm paying attention more to his videos or the podcasts and spotlights and stuff, but it seems like there is some amazing bikes that are coming out lately that are just – I know what it takes to build a bike, and my bikes are nowhere even close to any levels, but these are just mind-boggling, the amount of time that goes into them.
It takes some time, man. Our buddy Jetty's, the guy that was on the podcast last night, Hang 'em High, he's building a Lowrider S for our buddy Jetty, and Jeremy at Lucky Strike painted it. Oh, dude, it's gonna be one of those like Dynas that I feel like in the Hall of Fame of Dynadom.
So it's a Dyna Lowrider, it's not the new Salto?
No, it's not a new Salto. It's an older Dyna Lowrider S. Yeah, it's going to be fucking amazing. The paint job, I saw some teasers of the paint. It's fucking ridiculous. And then frame off, everything painted, everything dialed in, S&S motor. It's going to be fucking sick. And then, I mean, how's your bike coming along? Like, are you just waiting on parts still?
Yeah,
or?
it's like, so I bought the bike in end of July, like I said. I ordered all my parts early September, and they were supposed to all be here by middle of November, and so that's why we tore the bike down in October.
Yeah.
Because when we were down for Thanksgiving, we were going to work it on Thanksgiving. And yeah, I think I'm still waiting on our swing arm and stuff like that. I finally got my front end in, so we're tearing it down a bit more tomorrow and send some stuff to Chrome, and we're just going to kind of move on without the swing arm. I'm just like paint matching everything for now.
Yeah, swing arms are a bitch right now, especially if you got it from that one that starts with a T.
Yep. No, I didn't order from that one because I didn't want to wait, and I still want them in the same boat.
Okay. Is it from the other one that starts with a T, or is this one start with an A?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, the front end took a while too. We got that in like a month ago.
Yeah, just it was a couple weeks ago. I thought it was.
What did you end up doing front end wise?
I did GP drop ins, and then I'm doing the Alley Art fork lowers.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
It's a nice little.
Yeah.
Did you do their new setup they just came out with, or is it the?
It's a new one. I don't know if they have any new one.
Well, no, I'm talking about they have like a whole new fork system they came out with. It's like an actual. It's in conjunction with GP, but it's like not just the lowers. It was like a whole.
Okay, no, like so like the one where I just did the lowers and I'm new tubes and like the GP drop ins or whatever. Yeah. And then I'm running like Behringers and shit. And
nice, dude.
I think we're gonna move on.
You got Justin doing your trees.
Yeah, we're doing Justin's doing my trees. I got my top tree already.
He's downplaying this a lot, to be honest with you.
I mean, but it's nothing like. It's not like a crazy like speed dealer bike where he's like making all these like custom parts and shit like that. It's just like, I mean, it's nothing you can't like anybody can't go buy kind of deal. So
well, shit, there's a lot of people that can't buy it. You know,
I might be broke doing it, but as soon as like we're just moving on without the swing arm now. Hopefully I'll have a bike. Hopefully by the camp out, I'm not sure.
I think we could have it done. I think the issue we procrastinated a little bit, thinking things were going to come in. Like he has certain things he wants to not to spoil his build. Certainly he wanted chrome and things that I have to get done for him. But we were waiting on parts so we could kind of do it all at a bulk item. Vice just do this piece and bring another piece back. Yeah. So now we're just at the point, and I'm just going to he's going to be with me tomorrow too. We're just going to take it down and we're just going to send everything out that we have. Put it together the way it is, and as parts come in, then we'll
go back at
it. Like I have Arlen Ness wheels coming, but they're on back order right now, and so they might be here before the camper, they might not. So I'm just gonna hold on to my rims that I have with those brakes because I'm doing the Arlen Ness Y-spoke wheels with their brake rotors and their new brake calipers because I have the Ness lowers. Okay, so I want their whole setup on there. Nice. And then. Justin, my machinist, we've been talking for a while. He's working on a swing arm design. Yeah. But he's just so backed up too that it's like, just
maybe time my bike comes around and no one will be backed up and y'all have all that figured out.
I think by the end of this year, I think most of the supply chain shit will kind of be back to normal. A lot of things are kind of back to normal, but then there's also like a lot of price hikes on a lot of shit because of
I was trying to explain him building my FXR during COVID. Yeah. It took me not almost 2 years to get my FXR built, and my FXR is less parts than obviously of any bagger would ever be. And it took me almost 2 years to get all the parts in for that. 18 months, I would say.
Yeah.
Talking about the wheels, I kind of wish initially like we're just going to chrome the stock wheels. Is what we're going to do.
Do you have a chromer? Because I don't know any chromers.
Well, simple answer is yes. I have to ship it back to the one I have in Cali it's in Nevada, but I will. But we have a guy in town that's going to try and attempt to do it, and he's made all these promises. But like, I'm a pretty stickler when it comes to that, and I'm going to be the jackass.
Chrome here in Texas, we've never been able to do the same kind of chrome that California. Mm-hmm. Tennessee used to have some of the best chromers as well, but they all outlawed it all.
Yeah, but California is really outlawed. I think it just kind of
a lot of them were kind of grandfathered in still, but it's just one of those. I forget which the process is, but one of the dips is just a toxic chemical that they don't want to allow it. So it's also the thing that makes it beautiful,
But I'm already wishing I would have went like wheels because we were initially talking about doing the Y spokes as well, and I was like, I don't have like the budget for that, so that's just something we'll chrome and maybe do later. And then Emma got like some gold Y spokes for the Dyna, and they They fucking look
so
good.
Yeah.
And now I wish I would have done it, but now I've already bought like rotors and shit, so I had to get like new hubs and everything. So
I think you just had to do your front,
like,
right? I think the back would work.
I'm not sure.
I'd have to look at the stats on it, but I think it's the only thing on the stock front end you have like the floating rotor. So I think the Arlen Ness would be different rotors.
I'm gonna roll stock now, and then maybe like a new wheel comes out that's gonna be a little bit different.
Well,
I'll go with that.
The wheels that come on the baggers are pretty decent. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the good things about the new baggers is like you can buy them and you don't really have to change the wheels. You got an 18-inch rear wheel, you got a 19 front. It looks good. You put like a Hoffman fucking fender on it, just something kind of sporty, and it looks good. Now, the old one's like a 2012 Road Glide. You get those fucking horrible turbine-looking wheels or whatever the fuck they were called, and they're big, they're bulky. You can't see through them. They're just horrible.
Yeah, I like the wheels that came on those new ones a lot. It's just like their contrast, and I want them chrome, so we're gonna chrome them. So
it's definitely gonna look good. I think it's gonna look really good. It's already got ideas for mine when I get ready to do it.
Yeah,
he's gonna have the chromed out version. I'm gonna have the blacked out version.
I know Justin, my machinist, was doing a lot of chrome on his bike, his build. There's been a couple other ones popping up that did nice chrome. I feel like chrome is like, now that everything went to black powder coat, obviously, and so a lot of chromers kind of went away, and now we all kind of want chrome.
Back,
and we can't. It's just hard to get it done because there's not many people that can do it anymore.
It's just pricey to get it done as well. Like that's the we were talking about that a lot. That's just why we were kind of waiting to do one big bulk item to help that thing out, but it ain't working out. Not well.
So what are you doing motor wise? You just doing some fueling stuff, or
initially I'm probably just gonna do like a hot cam setup, like wake it up a good bit.
Dude, that's all you need on these fucking bikes.
I'm gonna be doing trips and shit like I was on the Dyna KTM, and I love to get something like you see these MX pushing like insane numbers. Like we did, went up to like HPI when like Millhouse did his big builds, like 152, 153 or some shit like that. We badass, but I don't fucking need that. I want to wake this shit up and like enjoy it and move on to maybe like, I think eventually down the road I want to like, because right now I'm still going to run forwards. I want to switch to mids, and like I said, I'm just paint matching now, and I want to do like a legit paint job a little further down the road. Maybe when I do that, I'll like blow it up. But initially I'm just going to like wake it up. And
my last bagger, not this one, but the last one, in the old paint job, I had like 40,000 miles on the 114 with just a cam, lifters, and push rods, not even a cam plate or oil pump, and never had a fucking issue with that thing. It ran like a champ. Never had any issues on the highway, and I feel like if you keep them pretty simple, then they'll last forever.
That's what I want to do.
You know what I mean? And a cam in a 114, a 107, or even a 117 would be better, but that's all you fucking need, man, for these bikes. It takes it from 84 horsepower is like what a 107 is. Yeah. And you put a cam in it, and you're already at 105 horsepower. Yeah. You know, and then same thing with the other motors. Like, it just wakes them up so much. You know
I bought the special, so I got like the 114. That was, so, just if I get like maybe like close to 115, like mid 120s or some shit like that for torque, and you're not going to hear me complain. So.
We were talking prior to the podcast what I was going to, like, I don't ride a bike that way. So it's just like we ride aggressive, we ride hard, but like if I had that massive thing on my bike, it would still be like, never use any of it. I'm just going to ride it. It's not like I'm going to get to the red light and like, hey, let's go drag to the next one.
I liked having it for talking shit with my friends. So
that's what it is.
That's the best purpose for it right there. Yeah.
But most people that pull up to the bike that wants to talk crap, there's only select few friends that even can compare to the bikes that we're I'm not saying we're building, we're putting parts on, we're bolting on parts to them. There's not like anyone that ever comes to talk crap to his bike or any of our bikes. I'm like, look, where's your bike at, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we would do, so my buddy Dirty Larry up there, he had one of the sickest fucking fat bobs. That was when he just bought it, but he had one of the sickest ones. It was built by what was it? Moonshine. Out there.
Yes, right there.
So they built the motor. It was a ripper, dude, and it was the fastest bike in our group. Until I had my 131, and we would talk so much shit to each other on our group chats and stuff, and then when we go to camp outs, we just, hey, we're running them, and we have nothing for what we consider to be a drag strip. It's literally an uphill pull, right? But it's the only thing we got where everybody can kind of walk to the main road, and we can kind of do some shit talking and get it done. And the first time I raced him, I fucking spanked his ass, and he started sending me.
You're underselling that spot. It's cool as hell. It's right at the beginning of the camp out. Everybody's out there watching, and there's you were obviously you were riding, but if you're part of the crowd and everybody's like, oh, the's a buzz, and as y'all, it's really cool. You're underselling. It's a cool feeling. That's
so
another part about the camp out.
What was it? I think the first time I beat him, we went to like some other thing that was going on there. So we ended up racing that day because we were just talking shit to each other, and I got him. And then 6 months goes by until the camp out, and then the whole time he's sending me like he's standing on the scale trying to lose weight, like anything.
I'm getting this one.
He's like, all I need is to drop 5 more pounds, dude, and that's your ass. And he got me on the last one. Like, I had a bad start, but racing's racing. If I have a bad start, that means I lost. So, because I'll be honest with you, like, I'm not really one of those dudes on a bagger. I'm not trying to fucking dead stop, just rip it open. Like, I don't want to fucking loop this goddamn thing or break my belt or any of that shit. But a nice little 10, 15 pull, you know what I mean? So
it's fun to rip on them, though.
Yeah.
It's like that adrenaline rush. You get it. Like,
It does feel good, man. That road, the main road that you come into the camp out, if you come out of the campground, you turn right, it's exactly like 20 miles to the next town, and there's nothing. Like, you could top out your bikes there, and there's no cops anywhere. And there was Justin, his old bike, the one that you did the video on, that bike was one of the fastest bikes I'd ever ridden next to, and it was like a little 95. And even with my 131, I'd beat him. Let me be clear, I'd beat him. But his little tink was right there on me the whole fucking time, and I was like pulling into 140 range, horsepower. That's what he called it.
Little tink.
That
Yeah.
was a nice bike. I really like that bike.
Tink.
Yeah, it was a fun bike when he first came to that's when I met him, was he came to the camp out. Steve Chamberlain talked him into coming, and since then he's been a solid friend. You know what I mean? Being around, his bike was literally one of my favorite bikes that's been out. It's what I wish that I could build if I didn't paint for a living. You know what I mean? So
I'm excited to see his new one. I got to see like his little. We went up. Last time we came down, we picked up something from there, dropped something off. I don't remember what it was.
Her trees.
So he had a part of it sitting there, and then showed me some of his tins. I'm pretty excited to see his new one or whatever.
Yeah, so. He's trying to. I don't know if he has it. I don't know if he's got it this time. I don't know. I want to give him shit, but I don't know if he's so confident in this color, which I'm not even gonna say what the color is. He's so confident that it's gonna be like the same kind of energy and vibe that his gray bike was, and I don't know if I trust him, but I'm gonna wait until it comes out and then give it my opinion.
You'll judge it then.
Yeah, because right now I don't like the bike is being badass, like what he's doing to it. No, it's nothing like that. But the color, I don't know. I don't see it yet.
I had that
when I was at his house.
I had that
same
thing happen to me before as well. But you're a painter, so I guess you can have that. Yeah. Like, they hated my bikes when I told them when I was going to paint them as well. So I know the feeling. But I love people that have that feeling.
I didn't hate your bike. I just, that initial, like your Dyna, you had that like dark red crimson, and it was like all red. And I really liked that paint job. It was like super simple, but it was clean. Like, it was my style. I really liked that bike. And then when you told me the new one, also it wasn't initially like crimson, and like it was like you were going to do root beer and then the cream color. And there were a couple other things. So
I don't remember
the final product you came out with was not what you originally told me.
Yeah.
But I did not hate what you originally had. The flames, you told me you were doing flames initially. I was like, fuck off, dude. But I like, dude, it turned out really nice because
you're kind of ahead of your time, because the flame thing really popped off last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I did my wife's helmet flame, the one behind you, for Sturgis of 2020. I think I did one more that year, and then come January, I had like 5 or 6 on order. And I can do flames pretty quick. That's like one of the OG things I learned how to do when I first started painting. So, like the 2 helmets that I just kind of put out online to sell, like everybody fucking loves flames. I can do them pretty quick, so it's a win-win for me to do it pretty fast and get it out, make some money, keep the ball rolling here. So
I don't know if flames wasn't going when I decided to do the FXR.
Yeah.
No,
I was just trying to go back to that old school 90s hot rod look, with the flames and get it going.
Yeah,
it turned out well. And now that everyone likes flames, I guess it just
it worked perfect.
It worked out well.
Yeah.
When you told me that, I did not have the vision in my head of what you and then Andy like produced when y'all painted it, because it turned out badass. And that was not what I was picturing. And I was just like, when you told me that, I was like, fucking ruining the bike, dude. But it turned out good, dude.
Trust me, I was trying to design a paint job for the Dyna, man. I was trying my ass off to go flames, but T-Sport fairings and flames don't work out well. So when you got a tank and a rear fender that are kind of long, perfect for flames. But a short stubby fairing with flames doesn't look good to me.
I really like that the paint job you got on that because I know a lot of people are doing purple now, but that looks fucking good, dude.
I just want everybody to understand something about purple. Like, I've always fucked with purple. Me and purple, every bike I've ever built has purple in it. I've never done a solid purple bike or this much purple on a bike.
But you got a lot more in there. It's not like you can't just call that a purple.
We know your
paint
favorite
job. You got a lot
color
of stuff
is
in
purple.
there. So
my favorite color probably is purple, but I've never been able to. I like warm color bikes. I like bikes that are in the red, orange, gold, yellow, tans, that. But I paint a lot of things that are cool color, like the blues, the purples, magentas, and things like that. And I appreciate the fuck out of those colors, and I like them. But I don't always see myself on that color of a bike. You know what I mean?
When you reveal it, you gotta wear the purple like pimped out suit.
Oh shit!
Yes, you gotta buy the purple pimp suit.
We're still buying some
with
Russian
a purple
jumpsuits for our
like velvet
Clink Zone
shoes.
podcast.
We're gonna get you dressed up like Huggy Bear.
Got goldfish in my shoes. Well, there's a lot of purple bikes that came out for Daytona this year.
Bodyworks Ben, he's that soft tail.
I think the only one that's really popped off that I was in love with was I think you did the fucking the feature on the purple Dyna.
Johnny Creature's bike, yeah, that bike. Because that was what Emma's bike. It started off as a lowrider S, a Dyna lowrider S, and that thing is.
What sucks about it though is when I decided to go purple, then that bike pops out. I'm like, fuck, that's
It's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah.
So every year, like one color seems to go out, and everyone's doing it, but it's not like everyone planned to copy someone because obviously when you go to paint your bike, you've already this is months and months prior, I think, and all of a sudden it's all the same time. It's like it's kind of weird. But
well,
it works out.
I feel like there's kind of like a vibe in the air though that makes people kind of want to do that because
I think it's you've had that whole like Miami Vice kind of like schemes going on with like clothing and shit like that for the last couple of years and t-shirts. And I think purple's kind of like a big part of that. Kind of lands in that little group of colors. And so I think people have like kind of taken that and they've started to adapt that a little bit into bikes and shit too.
I like it because it's fun, right? And it's not like some tough guy motorcycle thing. You know what I mean? I used to have to ask permission to put purple in bikes. Like, hey, are you cool with that? And he's like, oh, no, fuck that gay shit. You know what I'm saying? And
I think I tell him every time we talk about paint jobs with a bike, like I always think, because I'm not a loud paint job person from perspective, what I like is a personal taste. But when I want to paint something and I'm going to intentionally go out to have someone to paint it, I want it as loud and as bright as it can get. That's I don't know why that is.
I don't know. So what are you doing? Are you keeping the stock color? Because you had that billiard blue.
So I got the billiard teal. So for now, well, I think I've got some ideas. It's going to be like a little more like maybe like retro looking. The billiard teal is going to stay the primary color. Yeah. But initially, I'm just going to paint match the billiard because everything was taking so long. I was like, well, shit, I'll just like paint match it for now. And then I got a couple of things that I've done. I like the way I'm doing it, but like I want to change a few things. Like eventually I want to go to mids and a few other things. Yeah. And probably when I do that, I'll actually do a full on like paint thing. But it's going to be more of like a retro thing. But billiard teals are going to remain the primary color. To be honest, that's what finally made me pull the trigger. We actually had got back to California at the KTM trip and we walked in one of the dealerships there. And I'd seen a couple of billiard teals with black or whatever, and it looked good, but it was kind of like, that looks great. And then I walked by one with like the chrome, and I was like, that's it or whatever. Yeah. And Emma flew out the next day, and I took her out to see it. She was like, no. And I was like, yes. And then a couple weeks later, we were up there doing Tommy's video, and got one from him, and boom.
Did you go up there and plan to buy the bike, or did you go up there and get?
Did
you get salesman?
No, I'd already talked to Tommy about doing the video, and we already had a date set for that. And it was kind of somewhat hard to find the billiard teals with the chrome. Well, not hard to find. You could find them, but like you had to like look, you had to dig around a little bit for them, and you'd call a dealership, and of course they weren't like budging on anything on price or whatever. And I called House of Harley and talked to like Kevin or whatever, just like separately, just like not about the video or anything. It was just like I just called out of the blue and like hey, what can you do, whatever. And he was like, yeah, let me give you a call back or whatever, and gave my name and everything. And then Tommy called me back, and boom, that was it. Yeah, we. But where's when he haggled? He gave me a price he could do online. I was like, can you keep it for a month so I get there for the video? And he said, yep. And so I went up and did the video and rode the bike home. So
to give them a quick shout out, doesn't it feel good to like work with them when you feel like you're being treated?
Oh, yeah.
Like important in some kind of weird way and not like, hey,
100%.
You want to buy this bike or fuck off because we got people that want it. You know what I mean?
100%. Like every Harley I buy from now on will be from like Tommy and like those guys. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. like I said, I was fortunate to meet him here in Texas when he worked down here, and 100%. Like it's just such a nicer experience buying a bike from somebody that is just honest with you. Like, look, we have to make money. This is what we're making, right? This keeps all the lights on. This is what everybody else is selling it for. This is what we can do for you, and I appreciate that kind of open honesty about situations.
You have to. It's like when you buy in stuff from friends anyway, you got to know you're obviously supporting them at the same time in their lifestyle habits. So buying a bike from someone, you want a deal, but at the same time, you got to realize they got to.
I just don't like when I bought my Jeep. I felt like I know I got fucked somewhere, but I don't know where. And I would rather just know, like, hey, look, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to cost, and this is what this does. And I'm like, so this is not. We're not fucking you. This is just how this works, right? Okay. But not knowing, it's like, fuck, man. Like I always thought it was weird when like something is like 30 grand, right? And you have 10 grand to put down, and then you put the 10 grand down. And then they add all the shit to it, and now you have a note that's 30 grand still. Like, where the fuck did the 10 grand go? You know what I mean? Like, I still don't know where the fuck that went.
At the same time, you go in and buy, and I hate when you go in and buy. It's not that I don't know a lot about Harleys, but I know enough to get myself in trouble. And you go in and you try to talk to the salesman, and he's trying to tell you something. You're like, dude, I know more about this than you do. Like, go sit over there.
There's a lot of those dealerships, and that's what happens when people try to fill the dealerships with people that are just salesmen and they're not necessarily connected to the bike and maybe not in a performance way like we are, but just they're not riders. You know what I mean? Like I've sat in fucking finance rooms with people that are just straight from car dealerships that don't understand anything about this culture. And to me, I feel like I've always had this statement of like I like to support anybody that's a motorcycle. Like if you have a dry cleaning business and you're a biker, I'd prefer to go to you, right? And so, like, when you're buying a bike from a Harley dealership, you assume that you're buying a bike from a bunch of fucking dudes like me, that ride fucking Harleys. And so when you find out that 90% of the people that work in them, like, the only people that are really bikers are the people in the back turning wrenches on them. You know what I'm saying? Like and the guy sweeping the shop. You know what I mean?
Most guys I walk in, last time I talked to the guy, when I bought my last one, I was like, hey, I already know I want the bike, so you don't have to sell me the bike. Right now, I just need to sell myself on completing the task, writing you the check. So all I need you to do is just to sit here and be pretty, be your thing. You can get the commission on it. Do what you got to do. Walk me around the bike, ask the question, just play to my ego, whatever it is. I said, my only problem right now is not you selling me the bike. It's me signing the check to you. I just don't,
not ready.
Not ready yet. I need to talk myself into this.
You give me the right number. You don't need to sell me the bike.
Just give me the right number. You don't I already know what I already came here, already sold the bike I want. It's not like you're going to trade my mind and buying from a Road Glide to a Road King. I'm not sure what model I want. I already know what I want when I get
I just like the fact that I've finally got my credit good in my life where I can walk in and not have to like, can I get this bike? Like, no, I can get it.
Yeah.
I got the credit now. I don't have the money, but I got the credit now. I don't got to put shit down.
My problem is how much money am I willing to spend on the bike? Because my wife says it's never as simple as Grady. You're going to go buy $30,000 Road Glide.
Yeah,
it's not that. It's like so she's like, she don't even ask me how much the bike costs anymore. She asks me how much you going to spend on it after you buy it. I'm like, well, that's like asking.
How much was it?
They gave it to me for free. I don't know.
I always say it's like that's the same concept of like if you go out riding with your boys and your wife's like, "What time you coming home?" Like, I don't fucking know. Yeah, we'll see how the day goes. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be home tomorrow. Just plan on that.
Yeah,
you may have to come get me with to bail my bike out of jail.
No, there's a lot of cool shit out there, and I mean. There's been a lot of, like, I've had conversations with quite a bit of, like, builder guys that make a lot of different shit for their bikes, like this speed dealer, that guy. And this world of, like, the Dynas, the Harleys, it's way different for them, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're used to making all these things and making shit that they want. And we're, like, flipping through a catalog and we're building our bikes, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just the convenience of all these awesome companies that make badass parts that we don't have to make ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't complain about it at all.
And there's definitely things that you could build or fabricate or customize on a brand new bagger. But man, I could also just buy the one that my machinist already made for me. So
why to sit there and design? Like I would love to actually go to the, get Justin's like, hey, this is mine. Here, design this and build it. But like, why change the fact that he's already got it perfected? Just I like that product. Let's go ahead and use it.
I do want to build a chopper. Like I physically want to do everything, weld, all that shit. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but that is like a lifelong goal of mine is to build like a legit chopper. Even if it's like taking an FXR and chopping it up and turning it into something different.
The problem is not the building them, it's the riding them after you're done building them.
Yeah. Like you can't ride them or...
No, it's just like I like the chopper scene. Like, I love it. I think if I had to do anything, I love the old school choppers. I love building them, and had several do it. But when you get done building them, you got to actually go ride that hardtail down the road, and you're like, you get down the road, and you're like, little tiny gas tank.
Well, see,
I'm like,
so
screw this shit.
The spot I was telling you,
get my bagger.
Yeah, the spot I was telling you we're gonna do our pre-party for the camp out is at this place. My wife works right next door, and it's kind of the chopper hangout spot, right? And every 2020, man, I'll never forget this summer because I went cruising with those guys a couple times, and all it is cruising around the city streets. I'm like, I want a fucking chopper right now. Fuck this bagger. Like I got a bike literally that's super nice, like super nice bike, but that whole feeling riding through those streets, just the sun coming down and getting that whole fucking. Oh man, dude! It kind
of brings the vibes. Makes you the old school biker again, like the old bike scenes coming back. It's the feeling that goes through your blood or something. So I do love it. It just goes into the fact that like my last one's the panhead, and I only kick only, which is a mistake. Never do that in your life, because it would die at a red light for some reason, and you're sitting there for 30 minutes trying to kick it over, and you're sweating, and everyone's sitting at the bar laughing at you because you're still trying to crank it, and it was like I'm done. Like it just got to the point. It was. There's so many like choppers, like vintage choppers that I love, but the chopper that's in my head that I want is like Josh's motorcycle dork that was on the couple like last week. Yeah. Maybe not the parts he chose to use, but that stance, that look, that vibe, that tall, fucking long, still swing arm so I can ride it some places and things like that. But I just fucking love that look, and bikes are like. A lot of people who listen to podcasts know that I want to do it on an 82 FXR, which is a shovelhead FXR. But because I'm going to do all this, I don't want to spend more than $3,000 on this bike. I'm not trying to buy a fucking 82 FXR that's pristine for $8,500 or $10,000 and then cut the whole, top off the fucking thing. If you're stretching, raking, and all that crazy stuff. Well, that's when I got my FXR. I bought it for, I think by the time I had it shipped to me, $3,600. But
and then I've had like 2 FXRs in the last 2 years. Like 88s and 89s. I'm like, I could chop this one. But I was like, but I want it to be 82 because that's my birth year. Yeah. So I'm like, well, fuck, man.
To be honest, I like the style of bike from the gentleman you had last night. That Sportster he has.
Oh, yeah.
That, I wouldn't probably do the Sportster. I'd probably do something a little different maybe, but that lean tire, that sleek look, not too much stretch and rake to it like from an Orange County chopper kind of deal. But his bike is...
It fits him because he rips the fuck out of it when he rides it. He rides it like it's a goddamn Dyna.
And I would, but I like that though. I think that's what it's designed for. You get the other ones you can't really ride. I'm a short guy. I don't have a short inseam. Like I guess I'm a short guy. 5'9", 5'10", whatever that is. It's short, but
about 10 with some Air Maxes on.
Yeah, but I guess the thing is, I like that feel. I want to be able to have the handlebars directly in front of you. You're not your feet's not so stretched out that you like barely touching
like
the
mid, that's the
mid
whole
controls
concept
on
of a performance chopper. I love it. I just love it because it's got something that I'm very into, but then you're applying some of the styling to, a bike that I still would like a hardtail, but I don't know. I would like a hardtail, but I know that I wouldn't. I know it's not going to work out for me, but I would like to say that I rode a hardtail somewhere.
Yeah, I think to me it's just when I say chopper, I automatically like hardtail is it. Like not that you can't have a sawtail. That's not what I mean. But I'm not cutting on them. But when I think of a hardtail or a chopper, I think of someone.
Yeah.
Or you're doing the things in the FXR. You're actually chopping the neck off. Or you're doing chopper stuff to it.
Yeah.
But
do you consider Jake's FXR Eater a chopper since that's like a Dyna, has a rear suspension and everything? It's not a hardtail.
Jake's, why is that name?
Highway Manco.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
You're all right.
I'm sorry, Jake. But yes, that's a. I would almost say that's a complete. That's more of a chopper than it is that
chopper. But
that's meant more of a chopper than it is an FXR.
Yeah,
because he's pretty much. I don't know what's left of that to be like a full blown.
Well, no, he started with like a Santee frame, and
that's a full blown chopper in my opinion.
It's a chopper, but it's like a performance chopper.
Yeah, but I had to say that I would pick over the chopper. I love what's he called? The purple one?
Reaper's Revenge.
Reaper's Revenge is my would be my go-to on his bike.
Are you into naming your bikes? Like giving them names?
I do, but I'm not into naming them to the fact that I have to name a bike.
Yeah.
But my bikes always like form a name based off something. Like I mess around with my Donna. I call her Delilah. She took all my hair. And so she didn't take my, my hair. She took all my hair and my money. Like, Simpson, she took like strength, hair loss. He lost his strength. Well, Delilah took my hair and my money. So that my bike became Delilah just based off, it was a joke kind of with my wife, and it just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, I was, so Xavier from Providence Cycle Works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the old Buck Cherry drummer. He's got a lot of cool names, but they're all like chick names. I know I asked him one time, but I can't remember if they were like women in his family or past girlfriends or some kind of situation. But I mean, if I built choppers all the time, like I think the name, like building one based on some fucking crazy bitch you used to fuck with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, your current old lady would have to get down with it, but at the same time, I thought it was a good way to channel that rage into a motorcycle.
She doesn't have to know the origin of the name. You just tell her. You just pick the name. Name generator.
I name all mine usually have women names based off some kind of stupid story.
Yeah, I've never named any of my bikes. I just call them the Gold FXR or.
But I don't think you've ever married any of your bikes, like to the point like you're fine with getting rid of them.
I'm very sentimental, so I will usually keep something of the bike.
Okay.
That way I can say
I can't get rid of anything. That's my problem. Like every time I try to sell it, there's so many people that try to buy it, and I'm like already there. And then there's something that at the end of it, I'm like, okay, man, I'm sorry, man.
There's dudes out here naming that First Street Bob or that first bagger that they're gonna get rid of too. But
the dude's got a fucking Me Too bike out there.
Yeah, Me Too. I got one of them.
And he's like, "Oh, that's fucking Janine over there." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
I've been doing this forever. I was the original one.
Yeah.
Nah.
And I was I was working at the desk today, so I was watching some YouTube videos.
Tommy and Alex right there.
Yeah. I was watching some YouTube videos, and that one of the ones that Jason Momoa did for all the Harley shit. That's a good video. Yeah. He called his first panhead chopper his grandmother's name. Yeah. And I was like, that's fucking cool. Like, I like that idea.
Who's the guy that builds his choppers is pretty good, though?
Love Cycles.
Yes, Love Cycles. Yeah. He does some, but I actually love how he builds his bike. Because Aquaman has more money than any of us here combined. But he actually builds bikes that look like he just rattle cannon and put them together, and but he rides them like the old school vibe. I love those old bikes like that though.
You might want to get into like video and filmmaking shit. Like some of the videos that he's put out, like he's got like a little YouTube thing on like bikes and shit, are pretty fucking cool. Like he did one like the Frozen Feud was pretty cool. I think the video he did with that guy on the chopper, like it's some pretty cool videos.
It's good video. It's good shit. You know what I'm saying? And I like that idea. That kind of stuff. That kind of stuff is way more inspirational. I like to take that in. I watch those type of videos all day long over checking out the new Saddleman seat going down the highway. Fucking, like, God damn, dude.
I didn't realize how much went into the whole video making that you all do, or you do that.
Stuff is so fucking time consuming.
Yeah, like, because
we do this live so we don't have to touch it.
Well, he was filmed mine, and I was sitting around with him like, I don't work. I'm retired, whatever I got to do. And I watch him video, and after a while, after 4 hours of trying to get him to get away from his computer to go drink a beer and let's go do something else, I'm like, dude, all right, dude, you can have that junk. Yeah. I have no part of, like, it's like, let's just say it takes you.
You don't realize it's that long. When you're, I enjoy editing, so I get in there and I'll go for like.
You film let's say you film a bike on Spotlight. It takes you an hour and a half or 2 hours to go do a Spotlight. You spend 2 weeks, 8 hours a day almost editing. I just like the math. Like, it feels like it when you're sitting there, like, hey, dude, let's go drink a beer.
I think with travel time, they usually take between like 30 to 40 hours between each one. That's including travel time.
Oh, okay, that seems extreme.
Yeah, when I did, I've only done one video, and it was just like we did the hood ride here. We had everybody ripping around, and I just ran around with a GoPro. And then one day, like, I had my laptop up, and I was on this computer. I put all the footage in there, and every time I wanted to do something, I would look up what command does it on the laptop, and then do it. And that video was like 7 or 8 minutes long, and it was like I feel like that video took me 9 hours straight, not even getting up out of that seat.
So an hour.
And there was no words on it. It was just all clips put together. And then you realize real quick, like, am I using that transition too much? It's getting kind of.
Well, I look back at some of mine. I think I've done 20 total videos. And I look back, we were watching, like, we had one of them going earlier, and I was like watching the intro, and I was like, oh, like, that's it's like photography. Like, when you're doing photography, you're like, oh, this is a fucking good photo. And you look at it a year and a half later, you're like, what the fuck was I doing? Yeah. It's the same shit with, like, video or whatever.
Yeah. It also gets into the equipment that you can have. Like, you're also doing it off the. Your equipment's more expensive than normal, but still, it's.
What camera are you using?
I was just using, I had like 2 Nikons that were really photo cameras, but they would shoot 4K. So I was using the photo cameras. But now, I have a Nikon that I shoot photos on. It still shoots like 4K. And I think 4K and up to like 30 or whatever. So I use that. But then also my main one is, I bought a Sony FX3 like a couple months ago.
Is that like a
it's like the video version of the A7 III or whatever.
Okay.
So this is where I get lost.
4K and like 120, but it's like 10 megabits, 10-bit color and shit like that. It's legit, dude. It's got.
Is that the one that was on Ben? Because that image.
Yeah. And it's also got like Cinetone, so like color, because color grading, like for video, when you're editing video, like I think editing like photos for like color and everything is so much easier. Or editing photos is so much easier than video, but it comes with like Cinetone and like. If you don't want to do much color grading in your video, it comes out pretty good already. I mess with it a little bit. They also have like S-Log3. I don't remember all the fucking terms, but it comes out like a really flat image, but you have a ton of like flexibility what you can do with it. But so that's the newer one. And I bought like a gimbal this year. I think we were putting together everything I spent last year. I think spent $9,000 on fucking like photo and video equipment shit. And then like I bought some mics that like took a shit on me like 3 times after using them. And I actually before Ben's video, I finally got some in.
I was going to tell you that. That's the only thing.
Oh yeah, I've heard about it a lot from everybody.
Just when you're in a big shop,
echoes, because like I bought mics and they took a shit on me. And I didn't have money to buy a new bike, or 2 new mics, so I had to wait till I get some new ones in. I finally got them in right after shooting that one, and so I had those to take to.
Yeah, that's kind of always one of the things. Like when we started doing this podcast, back in 2017, late 2017, we kind of started fucking around with it and like seeing what was out there in the motorcycle world. And the only really predominant one was Danger Dan's podcast that we had to kind of go off of. But then there was a bunch of small ones, just like now there's a bunch of small ones. And people trying to get it off the ground, right? And one thing we made sure of is that the audio was king, because good audio, you like if you put a podcast on, it's just audio, right? And so if it's bad audio, if it's loud, there's shit going on, or it's fucking peaking everywhere, like it's a turnoff, right? Like, fuck, man, that shit's... you're in the car with your lady, like, hey, this podcast is cool as shit, but you got to keep fucking adjusting the volume because, no kind of audio technology has been put into it. And I've watched so many YouTube videos. I'm a wealth of knowledge, but I've done none of it. You know what I mean? As far as video editing and putting things out there. And that's one of the things that everyone's always talked about is keeping audio palatable, because that's the one, like, you can see things that might not be as pleasing and it doesn't bother you, but when you hear shit, that's an annoyance. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
I just think how do I put this nicely? It's the amount of money you have to spend on a hobby that's turning into a business.
Well, I do this
that
shit.
It's like
I get the audio is bad.
Crazy.
Like fucking, I edited the video for fucking 20 goddamn hours. I know the audio is bad, but like it's listenable. Like if you got a problem with it, like fuck off. Like. But like so, and it, like I spent a ton of money. I bought mics that took a shit, and then like
what mics did you buy?
I wound up going with like the Rode wireless 2 wireless 2 Go is like little, because I was looking at trying to get like I think Steinhauser makes like the legit ones that are like supposed to be really good, but
they're lavalier style things where you can put like
the Rode is the same thing. I got little mics that go with it, but like you could have one receiver, so I can have 2 different pieces, one for me and one for the other person, and it all goes to one receiver that I put on my camera. With like some of this, I don't know enough about it. I'm trying to figure it out. With like the Steinhauser ones, I couldn't find. I was having issues figuring out how I could get it to go one receiver. It's like, because if I got one, I needed a receiver for both of them versus going to the.
Oh, that makes sense.
No, it could
That'd
be just
complicated.
It could be just me not being able to figure it out yet, because I don't know fuck about audio. And so I'll get there.
Yeah, it took me a long time to realize when they would do that whole like directors like.
Ding. It's
a
spike. It's a spike in the audio.
It's to sync the fucking audio that's not being recorded into the video.
We're gonna steal your mics on the way out, by the way.
These ones, these aren't that. These are good for this, right? But if you're doing the videos, like you don't necessarily want this right in your face.
No.
So like the lavaliers, or you'd have to do like a big ass boom that's above you that has like one of those
I would like
shotgun things.
I would like to be able to like.
We're taking donations. Do y'all know anyone that wants to hook us up with audio?
Dude, I got a gimbal. I got a gimbal over here.
I'm gonna come around with Ben and just start holding it over his head.
Dude, fucking money, dude. Let's do it.
I bought a gimbal, so I got a Ronin S, not the newest one, but the last one.
I don't even know what
I've got like a DSC2. They make two. One's for like heavier cameras and one's for like lighter weight cameras.
So you have a newer one.
Yeah, I bought it within the last year. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So mine's an older, the last model, but it is for the heavier camera.
Yeah.
And then I have a Mavic 2 that I've literally flown 3 times in the last 2 years I've owned it.
He bought yours. What was your fucking drone thing?
Sky Dio.
So he bought one for his
that
trip.
That was badass to
we've got some
follow you.
We've
That's
got some
one of the best
amazing.
tracking.
We've got some amazing footage from our trip that I'll get to eventually. Anyway, I'm gonna start taking that and trying to figure out a way to use that on my Spotlight song.
One of those 2 times I flew it was in here in the Sit Down Steve podcast. We got super fucked up and we flew the drone in the middle of the studio.
Well, this one has sensors on it. Like,
it was beeping out the ass.
Yeah,
It's like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm not supposed to be flying right now.
It has sensors. It is pretty cool because you can actually I think
it won't fly into shit.
Yeah, but I think it's only supposed to be like for a follow me thing. But you can actually. I don't have the controllers. I use the app on my phone, but you can actually pretty much operate it. I say if you know what you're doing.
You should take that shit and like some GoPros on your trip and edit some of that.
Well, so the problem, the GoPro stuff is like I've got a 9 and I've got a million fucking accessories to do it. I'm gonna try to do something with this fucking T-Sport build. I haven't done any footage of any process to this point, but now that it's assembly time, maybe I can get some shit. Maybe I can get something. It's usually like, what the fuck do I say? You know what I mean? So it's almost like I need to get a good camera angle and just start working on the bike and just ramble. And then I can cut out things that make sense or don't make sense or whatever, you know?
I just think people don't think they talk well on camera, but they do well when there's not a camera around. So just
it's when you do a video, right? Yeah. You're trimming the fat. That's what you're doing the whole time. So it's like this podcast. We do a 3-hour podcast. Not everything that's being said is gold, but you could trim it down to about a 20 or 30-minute video of like great points, right? And doing a video that like most of YouTube is going to want to watch, they're going to want to watch that 10-minute or less video that fucking just hits all the points. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're doing a bike, it's like, or you're putting together a bike, I mean, there's the content's there, but what do I say about it? Like, what's the script? And it sucks that you need a script, but some kind of script helps you stay on fucking path of like talking about things that maybe you should try to highlight in this shot, so that when you get done with it, it's like, oh yeah, I divulged all the information. I feel like if somebody watches this video, they're gonna find out about what's going on, what's happening. I answered all the questions I felt somebody's gonna have about it, you know. And I don't know. I want to do it, but fuck, dude.
It's like 20 hindsight's 2020. You get done with the video, you realize you had like 50 questions you wish you would have asked.
Oh yeah,
dude, I've like I don't like full on plan my interviews out because I want them to be kind of like more like off the cuff and everything, just like 2 guys shooting the shit or whatever. But I've definitely like planned shit out for an interview, and like I said earlier, I'm pretty introverted, so like I'm not very articulate either. And so I'll get in front of the camera and we'll start a video and completely forget everything that I planned to ask about or whatever. And I'm like, all right, here we fucking go.
And I give him grief all the time.
What's that Eminem song? My palms are sweaty.
Oh, 100%. Dude, we were doing the one with like Ben and like Mark or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course it was like Kyle was there and I think Steve was out there for a little bit and you could see people inside like peek out every once in a while. Dude, I was fucking nervous as shit because usually just me and whoever I'm interviewing and Emma there like helping out or whatever. And there was like 6 or 7 people there and I was like, fuck. And Kyle looked at me at one point. He's like, you nervous? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm nervous.
And I always call him after I get the video out and I yell at him because I was like, sometimes I geek out watching the videos because I'm interested in the bike.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't you ask about this? Why didn't you ask about that? And it's like, you got to ask him this. But you know, you forget about this thing. I just think it's
exactly
some of
what
the
happens.
Yeah.
I sometimes when I have somebody on that I don't know as well as other people, I'll have to go and I have like a little notepad like JD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I got a bunch of notepads in here. Throw it over here. And I'll go in here and I'll fucking like, you know, just like keywords. Like say I did the one with the dude that Chris that did the 100,000 miles in 100 days. I'm like, Hoka hey, question mark, you know, your early days riding, question mark, like things that help me move that podcast along.
He's got Get Bent Moto audio sucks.
Thanks. My ego's lost now.
Nah, I was gonna. I don't have any mics. I have one mic that I bought to run on my when I want to do video shit. And then I got this small rig.
So I've got the shotgun mic. That's what I had. Like for the video with like Johnny's where it was like super echo in the garage. That's what I had.
Yeah.
And then I got those lavaliers. Now they definitely work better, a lot better for Ben's video. So I'm hoping
like,
those are big improvement.
When you're shooting something like Ben's, like outside too, because you don't have the echo out there.
Yeah.
You don't have like this isn't really. This is good for like vlogging.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
you need to get a longer cable and put it like right
Yeah.
here. You know
Hopefully,
what I mean?
I'm hoping like the lavaliers with like the little like mics work out a lot better. So I feel like his was a lot better because it was pretty loud out there with like birds and shit like that, and I feel like it picked up a very minimal amount of that.
So that soundboard right there, it has the ability to noise cancel like small noises that would kind of come up in the backgrounds, just like you ever do like the AirPods Pro shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fucking amazing, right? Mics are starting to get to that point now where like they'll cancel out some of the things that are more annoyances that you would hear in your head while you're listening to things. What was it? I think I just watched a video on it today. So Rode, this company makes the wireless Go that you had an issue with. And then there's DJI just came out with mics that way.
Yeah, I saw some.
They look pretty sick. They have a lot of technology in it too.
That's one of my like. Obviously, I'm going to start this as well. A few other things like focus on the media full time. So that's my big goal. The next like
I wanted to ask you about that. Was
to
one
get
of
my
notes
shit sorted out. So
I was actually bringing it up.
Audio sucks. So what are you going to do with your
website?
I'm
You know,
fix my fucking audio. That's what I'm going to do. No, like I'm hoping to like obviously I do a lot of photography and I've done like some basic media creation for like some companies and like some video shit. So I want to.
You did some stuff for Thundermax, right?
Yeah, I've done. They've been those guys of Jacob Millhouse are fucking awesome.
I'm really pissed because I don't have that hat and I fucking love it. I was watching you with Ben today.
Oh, dude, this is like the most. So I was coming to do a video. They put the hat out on their Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was going up there to film like an install video for them. I don't think they put it out yet. And I think I put like fireballs or some shit on their post about the hat.
Yeah.
And Jake was like, "Oh, we'll have one ready for you next week." I was like, "Fuck yeah,
man!"
I got there and like he didn't give me one. I wasn't gonna be the asshole like give me some free fucking shit or whatever. Which I'm sure he just forgot about it because we filmed like 2 videos that day. Yeah. And then I had to go back for something and Millhouse gave me one. So
yeah.
He's got his brother and he don't even think about me at all. Not one thing.
Yeah,
I barely got the hat, dude.
You got a Thundermax on your bike?
He's going to.
You better.
Yeah. I am. We're going to do the build.
It's going on mine. It's there on mine. Like it's gonna. Well, when the build finishes, like they've already. I'm getting a. I'm running a Thundermax.
I'm about to put a Thundermax on my Dyna. Though. Yeah. I'm about to put a bullet to that sucker.
Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't.
Back to get Bent Moto.
Right? You were just trying to sell it, and you're like, I'm fucking.
Well, I'm done trying to sell the bike. Like I thought I could sell the bike. I don't want to change the subject from your thing, so let's go back to it. I just thought I could sell my bike, and like I said before, I have too much emotional connection. Like I want to get rid of my bike because here's the problem I have on my bike. I'm buying a Road Glide again, and I'm building a Road Glide. Well, my bike has FXRT fairing. We all know how it looks like. So it's like, if I have a Road Glide, I don't want the Dyna to look like that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm going to strip it all down. So if I stripped it all down,
what you could do is sell that paint set and with a trade for a body and do a new build on the Dyna that's more kind of like you can sell that paint set, you know, and get trade of their stock parts. You might have to buy another fairing, but you can at least get a tank.
You guys are like the same person.
Yeah.
I will say this. I've heard this before. Here's my problem. I don't want to see no one else with them fucking tins.
Oh, dude, I sold those tins are running around in Hawaii right now.
Well, it's not that. It's just. I
my
guess
last bagger's running around in Biloxi.
I have to get unmarried to stuff, and I think I'm married to. I get married to that bike like the way it is, and I had the tins. I actually may one day want to put them back on. So my thought process is just do what you said. My first thought process is go put them in a box, wrap them up, and fix the bike up the way I want it. And a year later, I want to put it back the way I can go back and forth.
30 years, we're at a swap meet. It's like fucking Grady's tins right here.
Yes, exactly.
That'd be kind of sick though.
Yeah, and it probably will be that way. You know, it's just I gotta figure that out. Like I gotta come up. But right now, my focus right now, because my bagger bill is going to be like yours, like your bag bill. That's my pot of money this year is going to my bagger bill because you can't build a $30,000.
So like my bagger currently, I got Lindahl rotors, Hoffman front fender, Legends front and rear, 3 thrashing floorboards all around their whole control system. Lucky Days bars, Lucky Days seat, electric lighting on everything, Clockworks, windshield, Nest front fork lowers. Like that's almost $12,000 worth of shit, and then the exhaust, the computer, and those type of things. That's like $12,000. Then you got the fucking 131. That's another fucking $7 or $8 grand.
And luckily, you're the painter.
Yeah. So I trust me, I have the most expensive part.
But
The paint is more expensive than the motor when it comes to battery.
Correct, and that's what I say. I'm buying a $30,000. We just talked about it. I'm buying a $30,000 bike. I'm probably gonna put the 131 in it, most likely.
Yeah.
Which that makes it a $40,000 bike. Yeah. And then you're adding. For me, I got to add the paint in there.
Yeah.
So you're adding another $30,000 worth of parts to it.
Yeah.
And it's not even
$70,000.
Yeah, and it's not even going to compete with. What's his name? The Benz Turbo Track. I forget what's his name. Not interesting Benz. Like, and them bikes are like beyond.
There's some Rogos out there right now, like his.
And I'm adding bolt-on parts.
Those Trask assault bikes are already like in the way up there. Yeah, you touched on it in your video, but I've also, as a guy that has ridden with him and been around a lot of these journeys he's done in the last year, surprised the hell out of me getting those kind of mileage, the amount of times he's ridden. Like he one dayed it from Houston all the way to fucking Sturgis to come party with us. Remember? Yeah. And then
that's a trooper there. That's a man.
Dude, fucking rides.
That's a man there.
He's a man that like pushes himself to the limit, and I think he's old Australian military, right? Isn't something like that? Yeah. Which I didn't even really have one, to be honest with you. But he does that, and then he's like, you know what? I want to go ride Bear Tooth and all that stuff. So he does that. I kind of willy nilly and going west, like I'm trying to go to California, but I just couldn't line it up. So we link up in fucking in Salt Lake and have some whiskey together at a hotel, and then he was riding back somewhere the next day. I think going back to Houston, and then flew back to fucking Australia. It's like, goddamn, dude, fucking cool ass life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It is. And I think the people like that excite me because I think we try to do it. We live coast to coast for emotional. This is our first time we've ever lived. We still live 9 hours apart. This is the first time we've ever lived within 10 hours. I don't drive the Nashville heat comes to me, which is a bad thing to say. I don't mean that, but we try to do that. I mean, we've done the same thing. Let's meet, go for a beer halfway somewhere, and just get on the bikes. And,
halfway is like Memphis, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, but
no, I think halfway is more like
Little Rock's halfway.
Little Rock,
yeah.
Little Rock's cool,
but we actually don't. We never plan halfway.
Little Rock's the white version of Memphis, though.
We never plan halfway normal. Like if me and him said let's meet halfway, we're going to do like halfway. Okay, let's go to Key West. Like we're going to actually like meet not halfway in a driving straight line. We're going to probably meet halfway and driving around the world to get there.
Jackson, Mississippi. I've never really partied there.
We grew up in Mississippi. I don't know if I ever want to go back in that form of thing. Like, I'm not. It's a wonderful place to be, and anyone's listening, it's awesome. Yeah, good on you. But I don't know if I
need to move.
Yeah, but I think if we were going to do something, we're the type of people. I want to go see something I had never seen.
Dude, you know what I've had fun at? We've had fun at is Chattanooga.
Chattanooga's pretty badass, dude.
I've had fun.
There's some great riding around there.
Yeah. I like that town. I like the setting, like the whole.
It's tucked between those like three little mountains, like look out
with the river coming through it.
Whatever the other one is, it's pretty.
I just love Eastern Tennessee and Western North Carolina. I think like I've been all over the world, and I've been. Let's say that's probably like through there is some of the best views there is in the United States. Yeah, I don't know why.
I guess the best ride. Like that's how like when I initially got started doing trips. I got started doing my trips. I would take weekend. I would leave Friday after work, and I'd ride over there and camp out. I'd ride all day Saturday, camp out Sunday, or camp out Saturday night, and then come back Sunday. And it was going over there to like East Tennessee, like Chattanooga, like close to Tell Dragon, and like
Tellico Plains, all that stuff.
Yeah, I just try to stay. 100%. Only problem is I try to stay with Tell Dragon just because the amount of
I don't like
bikers it gets, but the actual area.
Cherry Skyway is fucking amazing.
I don't know that I've actually done Cherry Skyway.
Cherry is badass.
It is. I think it's better.
But Tell Dragon's just like, well, it's okay. Like, but like every time I would do it, I would go and I'd camp out like a Friday or something like that. Or I'd either do it Saturday morning or Sunday morning. And I would do it like at 7 o'clock in the morning because there's not a fucking soul there. But if you do it any other time of day, it just fucking sucks because
Well, if I did the Tilla Dragon,
it's like I was doing
the
Smokies. It was a parking lot. And it just fucking sucks.
And everyone's there, and everyone's trying to prove they can ride a bike bigger and faster than you can.
Yeah. I don't like it because you got people on bikes being stupid. You got people in like sports cars being stupid.
It's fucking me out a weekend.
It's just fucking uncomfortable and like I don't know. It's just. I don't enjoy it. So I usually avoid it when I'm over there. But that area there is like fucking great for riding. So that's how that's kind of what got me into trips. Like at first, like, okay, I want to start doing like some camping trips on the bike. And I load the bike up, and my first like 4 or 5, just go outside, man. The first 4 or 5 were over there, and I would take like weekend trips, and that's kind of what started my whole like tripping thing like several years ago. Is I'd go over there and like camp out for 2 nights, and I'd come back. So really, in terms of mileage wise, it's nothing compared to like going to Colorado and back, or going to Montana and back, or doing like what we did, like Nashville to Montana to California and then back. But that's kind of what put the bug in me or got me hooked on actually like traveling and camping out with like bikes and shit.
The camping and the traveling and all that shit kind of came to me in late 2016. And then the photography came with that. It was kind of like a package, like Chopper Bro starter kit. Like get a camera, go camp in the dirt, and listen to fucking Black Sabbath and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it was a good. I don't know. Like I know what you mean about it. With the camp out, we've talked about it a lot, but we kind of missed some of the intimacy of like a smaller setting situation because camp out's just kind of grown to a point where it's still a fucking great time. But when we started it, when it was 30 of us, 50 of us, even sounds like a lot of people there, that was way like...
That's a completely different vibe than a couple hundred people, so yeah.
So, me and my wife next weekend, the whole point of me finishing this dining and putting a deadline on it was because me and her going camping together, just me and her.
Nice.
And she's going to drive, I'm going to ride the bike down, that way we can kind of go cruise around and shit. And I'm low key, I'm fucking excited as fuck because I miss that, not being the person that has to entertain anybody else. Just like we're hanging out, we'll sit around a fire. Maybe if we both drink at the same level, when we talk great together. But if I drink too much and she hasn't, like we miss the fucking boat. So,
that's my thing is like doing it by yourself. Like all my trips except for the KTM trip with him last year have been like solo, just me.
I've only camped by myself
and
once.
I like it. Oh no!
And I did it in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I was scared as fuck because I found out there were bears in those mountains.
Oh, dude, we were doing it.
And
we don't want to talk about this.
I'm fucking sitting here with a goddamn pack of powdered donuts.
This guy the whole trip. Dude. He's on this thing, and we're getting this thing. He's like deaf to five. We were like, I
had like 3 of those like bear things, dude. Like I was.
He wouldn't leave his house without going with REI to buy like the bear horns.
Oh, dude, I was fucking ready to go to war with some bears,
dude. Stories about that.
Rocking that Joe Kidd bear spray, huh?
Yeah.
So Joe, that thing on you.
So Joe, I don't know if you met Joe Kidd yet. He's like the FXR king.
Oh,
he's a good dude. Well, he came to the camp out last year, and he just had holstered.
That was the Sturgis.
Oh, Sturgis,
with the bear spray, yeah.
He showed up to Sturgis, to our campsite in Sturgis that we go to, and he just has a bear spray like hooked on his fucking belt loop, walking around. And I forget what he said he was doing it, but last year when we did 2020, we did Sturgis, and then we went and did the whole Yellowstone afterwards. I ain't gonna lie, I was scared as fuck at that campground in Yellowstone because there's like bear propaganda everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny thing you said that 'cause we were talking about it one night at the campsite, and the next morning we go ride through Yellowstone, and literally there was a bear. We had to stop on the side of the road because a black bear was like from my bike. I was thinking I was in the lead. My bike from me to you was like a black bear sitting there, and I was like, well, this ain't gonna make Ben's night go very well.
Black bears, I'm not worried about because we have black bears in the Smokies, and black bears are like they're scared to fuck with people. They'll run the fuck away.
Yeah.
Like I'm not worried about a black bear. But some of those fucking grizzlies and shit. Like if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, there's just ain't shit you can do. You're just gonna fucking die. And
hey,
did y'all? Yeah, we saw when we went through Yellowstone. We saw a couple brown bears. I wouldn't say they're grizzlies, but there was
a few bears that we've seen out from the distance that were.
Yeah, usually you pull up and there's a fucking goddamn crowd around it, like it's the paparazzi.
It's the same thing. I think our only thing was for some reason the buffalo were on the street pretty big.
Oh yeah, we just stopped.
It was
times,
I was like, good lord, it was. But
it was pretty awesome. But that was the only good part about being too early for our trip. We got to Yellowstone before it was like crazy, like with all like the tourists and shit. Like we didn't have to get.
I think the bears were still hibernating. It was.
We didn't get any traffic jams going through there. It took us like all day to get through there, but it was just like cruising the whole time.
We went through it. We went through it August right after Sturgis, so there was bikes everywhere. It was 2020 when everybody was in campers everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So there was. It was tough. There was a
lot of campers though, I think. But I think that's another thing. Get back to the whole solo trip. I think that's one of the main reasons why we like riding solo is you don't have to make a vote on where you're going. Your vote is yourself.
On your schedule.
And when you kind of don't have a plan, and you just kind of go, and you're just like, well, I want to stop.
Trust you, my man over here after Sturgis 2020, he took a left after we did Beartooth Pass. He took a left, went to Cody on accident, allegedly. Had the time of his life alone while we were out sleeping with bears.
I've got no knowledge of these bears or anything in the park because I missed it.
But I think that's what it's about. And when you go do it by yourself once, and I think when we do it together, we're kind of almost by ourselves because we kind of have the same mentality of how we like to ride. Like we have the Bluetooth connected, but we don't talk for hours.
We never talked.
Besides me telling him to shut up singing or something, or he yells at me because we're singing, and you know how it does.
I feel like now, as somebody like Lexin's a big part of our podcast and our group of friends, like they've supported us heavily over the years. But we all just use it for music. We don't communicate.
Yeah.
And because I think most of us, like when we're traveling together as a group, like it's like this gas station. After everybody gasses up, I'm usually in the front. I gas up. I pull over the side, and then everybody gets gassed up. And while everybody's gassing up, I'm looking at the next gas station, right? And I'm like, hey, everybody good with 125 on this next run? And everybody's like, yeah, let's do that, just to make sure someone's not feeling super tired or a little bit weak or whatever. And so for us, it's like, hey, next gas station's already predetermined. They know I got that shit, so they don't have to worry about it. Maybe they have to come up and say, I got to piss, or somebody's bike is fucked up or something like that.
That was me usually running the headset. I'm used to just listening to music and not having anybody else there because like there's nobody else I ever connect to. And then we were connecting, and I'd forget we were connected, and so I'd be like jamming out Shania, and Brady'd be like, "Shut the fuck up,
dumbass! Those are the wrong words."
Or he'd be like, "Did you say something?" And I would be singing like, "You say something," but we would also get like.
Or you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing in front of you? It's like you're talking about Grady.
We'd actually sometimes get lost. Like I would be in the lead. We'd swap off lead and riding around just in our own mind. And then I would also get like all of a sudden immediately like, what the hell's going on? Because I would look back at my rear views and he's not nowhere in sight.
Yeah.
He stopped to take pictures. And like, dude, you could have told me this thing does work.
Yeah. That's one thing I do like about riding solo, because when I got all the homies behind me and we're going somewhere, and I see a cool spot, sometimes you like stop at this spot. You're like, "Fuck, I want to take some pictures here." Mm-hmm. Then you get off, you take a couple pictures, and then you like get back on the road, and then like literally the next corner, it's like a better spot. You're like, "Fuck, I got to do it again." Yeah. And so when you're with a bunch of guys, like
you feel bad about that.
You feel bad about that. Yeah,
I think I enjoyed it a little bit because he went to go take pictures, and I went and roamed the woods. And luckily for me, this trip, which made me more pissed off, was I rode from California, from San Diego to my house to Nashville. For some reason, this little device that you hook on your bike is not the best thing for iPhones.
Immediately,
exactly. The day I show up at this outfit in Nashville to do the actual leg, we get all this scenic route and do something, my phone camera messes up. So the whole trip, I'm not able to take any pictures. Mm-hmm. I'm not able to do anything. So luckily I had the photographer with me. Mm-hmm. He goes over and takes pictures. So what do? I just go roam the woods.
Yeah.
Or I go. We had the KTM, so I was able to just. He stopped. We were off road a lot. To go take the KTM down the dirt road. He's taking pictures of himself skull on the side of the road or something. And I'd go ride, off in the sunset doing something stupid.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
I'd come back and then we'd chase around each other with a drone or something. But it's just good. Like we doing.
Our buddy Jacob pulled the drone out in Yellowstone, and them cops pulled up real quick.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that shit.
He's still on the watch list to this day because of that.
I can imagine.
One event.
Wow, we were.
There was
there's signs everywhere about that too.
We didn't see any signs. We put it up real quick, and all he did was put it up in the air. And there was like a little thermal pool, like not too far from where we were camping. Okay. So we all walked down there, and then he flew the drone, like we're talking maybe 2 football fields across, to get one of the homies mooning it.
all that for
and so moon. And then then we put it back up. He didn't fly it anywhere else. He didn't go around anything. And he put it back up, and then literally like 30 minutes later, a park ranger just pulls up, and he's like, "Who's got the red hat?" We're like, and he was wearing a red hat, so he was like, or Jacob was, and he's like, "I got it. What's up?" He goes, "We need that drone footage." And he's like, what the fuck? Who, you know what I mean? Like, out of nowhere. And apparently every one of the campsite cul-de-sacs has basically a camp snitch.
Yeah.
And so that camp snitch fucking called the park rangers on us. They're like, yeah, well, you can't fly drones because they might land into one of the pools and fuck up the ecosystem. And then we got to the geyser thing, or the Old Faithful, and there's drone footage everywhere you can buy. And I'm like, oh, no. You don't want us taking pictures of this shit so that we can sell it. You want to be able to sell it to us. Yeah. I said, okay, shit, I get it.
Like, I want to protect the environment as much as anyone else does, but at the same time, I like...
It's one of the things with drones. Like, there's a lot of places you're not supposed to fly drones, kind of deal. Yeah.
But anyhow.
That's why I don't fuck with it that much, because it's like, on the fucking thing, it's like, no fly zone. Like, man, I'm not...
I don't know how to fly the damn thing anyway. For me, that's one of my biggest things. And luckily, he's a little different mindset. I forget to take pictures on trips.
Yeah,
like I go and I like seeing it with my eyes, and I'm stopping and I'm like just looking around, and I'm like, oh, I left, and like, well, shit, I ain't gonna turn around now. Like I forgot to take my phone out.
You get carried away taking photos, especially like being a photographer, like, and you just like. I don't go anywhere these days without like constantly looking for like a photo spot. Like, oh, that'd be cool. This would be cool. Yeah. Like, it's just like almost like second nature now.
Yeah.
And so like I've started trying to do like on my trips. I just like at least one day of all my trips, like the camera goes up, and like unless I see something that looks like fucking like spectacular, I don't fucking pull the camera out. Except for maybe my phone. So
I think you have to be there because I actually forget.
I drive around Dallas sometimes. Like say when we do our bike nights on Tuesday. Sometimes if I get done at 3. I'll go cruise neighborhoods around and just look for areas I might be able to use at some point to shoot one of the homies' bikes or something I do. You know what I mean? So, like, I want to know every cool vantage point of, like, I like taking pictures where my friend Tim O'Keefe was talking about, like, he would shoot a bike in his garage and across the street in a church parking lot, and it never looked like that. And he's like, your background shouldn't be your photo.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and so
it should be distracting. It shouldn't be like the photo.
And so I've always said, and I don't mean this in disrespect to anybody else, but graffiti walls are like wings for chicks, but for Diner Bros. Does that make sense? Like if you paint wings on a wall, all the chicks want to go do this, buy it, and shit like that. If you do a graffiti wall, every diner in America is coming by to take a picture on that wall with it. And so as photographers, like. Graffiti walls are low-hanging fruit for, it's going to be a cool photo, but it's not necessarily going to, that's kind of like
if you're taking a picture of the wall, not necessarily your
That's
bike
one of the things I want to do now. I'm going to have more time for like the spotlights and focus on them. I'm going to actually find good spot. When I go to these, usually I'm making do with whatever I can do. Hopefully there's a cool spot close by that like the person knows of or something like that. But for the most part, I'm just making do with whatever I can. Yeah. Like Ben's, we shot in the Airbnb like driveway, Big Trouble them had, and we went and found like those photos like were in the worst fucking conditions. It was against that like white wall, the harshest fucking sunlight. And I'm just fucking making do for the most part. So going forward, now that I got a little more time.
Those photos still came out really good, though.
I was really, considering the conditions I shot those in and how harsh the light was, I was super happy with how those turned out. But going forward, like, now that I'm going to have more time, I'm going to get to a spot and I get to go to a place. Like, if I'm going to somewhere.
Maybe scout some shit. Because you can always
well, usually I just spend a ton of time on, like, Google Maps and shit. Yeah. Trying to find cool spots. But then you'll find a cool spot. Because we got there, like, an hour and a half before their Ben and Mark's shoot or whatever. And I'd map like 4 different spots on Google Maps, like, oh, that could be a cool spot to shoot. Yeah. And so Emma and I went to every one of them, and we got there, and it didn't look nothing like what it looked like on Google Maps. And we were like, well, fuck, because there'd be something else, a bunch of other shit parked there, or like that building used to be like fucking like just gray and solid and cool is now like taken over by some business, and it's got shit everywhere on it. And so hopefully like in the future I'll have more time. I'm not just like, okay, I'm off work on Friday, and I've got till like Sunday night to like fucking haul our asses up there to do this and haul our asses back. And I actually get there and I have time to like find a cool spot. And like I'm like doing it the right time of day, and I've got a cool spot, and I actually can produce like some legit stuff. Or she's just like, well, I got 2 hours to do this shit. Let's do it, kind of deal.
Yeah,
so.
I really like the photos that you did of Tommy's bike. That's why I like that whole debacle that went down with the magazine shit. When you finished that whole spotlight on that bike. And those alleyway photos were so sick because you were able to get like a good like leading line perspective going on with that. When I was there, like I flew in, they were getting the bike ready for me, and then it was raining outside.
Yeah, because you were there like just like the weekend before me, right?
Yeah, so it was like I was like, fuck, I'll try to get something out of this. I'm walking around the dealership trying to see where I can kind of create the same thing. Like, and so those photos came out really well, and I just feel like a lot of people like probably choose the graffiti wall thing because we have like a little area in Dallas where it's everything's graffitied out, and there's 5 rap videos getting fucking filmed at the same time. There's every chick doing like cosplay down there, and I just feel like it's just low hanging fruit for what could be cool.
Your focus should be on.
You don't want
person,
you don't want
bike,
your background
car,
to be overpowering. Like maybe you want your background to tell the story about the bike.
The background should disappear for the most part, in my opinion. That's like my style or whatever. But
exactly.
I think it should just go away. You should notice whatever you're shooting, and that's it.
I like those. I like that. I like where I didn't shoot that, but I like that feeling where we're somewhere that has a lot of vastness to it. Same thing like Monument Valley. Like you have the bike, even though like we don't necessarily have something in front of us. Like as far as like showing a lot of different depth, but you have those mountains back there and the fucking bushes, and I just like that vibe, you know. Or when it comes to, I don't shoot a lot of people. My wife's the only person I ever shoot really.
I like that shot a lot. That's a pretty cool shot. Yeah,
that is actually a pretty cool shot. But I definitely learned a lot by watching him do it for the photography. I didn't realize that much went into the work that y'all do to do it, like the thought process, not necessarily the editing. I'm talking about the actual thought. Like I park a bike in front of something and park my phone out and like beep, 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 Instagram.
Yeah.
I didn't realize a lot that goes into it.
It's like when we did a little impromptu photo shoot when we were down in San Diego that time.
Oh yeah,
like
that one on the wall there.
Yeah, I mean like that photo to me is cool as fuck, and
that's your butt crack out.
Almost, dude. I'm
surprised
I don't have some plumber's crack in that video. I'm not
some plumber's crack.
I was going to ask you if you like Photoshop some shit out.
No, you're good, bro.
But I love the sunsets. I actually,
dude.
Every time I see those pictures,
I got like a little
upset.
cell phone video of us cruising across that little bridge, and the way the fucking like. I kind of like Dave was on my left. I think you were right behind me, and you were a little bit further back. And I kind of pulled the camera back, and it automatically focused on you. But then when I came back to Dave, the sun was going down, so it focused on it, and it just like appeared. It was sick as fuck. You
gotta see me. That's what I have to say. Like I live that class. Like that's one of the biggest things I forget, and not forget, but I try not to forget about. Like I really do miss my sunset rides. That was my peace of mind.
Out there,
every like I said, every day. If I couldn't get on the bike because I was building it, I would physically go walk or run the beach. And every single sunset I try to go ride down there. Because you can do it year round for the most part. And it was just something amazing to see.
Yeah, check it out right here.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like it's almost right in the middle of it. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So it's like not a great video as far as like
but
the sunset. We're cruising down that little boardwalk there because we're actually trying to find cool spots to shoot. Yeah, man. You ever think about how crazy it is that like you don't really get sunsets over the water on the East Coast?
No.
Get sunrise. You gotta get
Daytona never gets a sunset on the water.
None at all.
And I never wake up early enough to do sunrise photos.
I'm at my house.
We were down there and we had like a hotel. We were like on the 8th floor, which is the top floor.
Yeah.
And we went to sleep with like the sliding door open because we had like a little like porch fucking thing or whatever. And it was like nice and cool because it was like fucking 1 in the morning. It was like all that cool ocean air on. But then I guess as the sun came up, it got fucking warm and shit. But anyway, it woke me up because I was like fucking dying because I was like right there sleeping close to like the fucking doors or whatever. But like the sunrises are just as fucking awesome. You just gotta wake up.
They're hard as shit.
So. I try to catch it at my house. I run to the backside of I got a little pond on my property, so I run to the backside of my pond, and I got this big pasture on the side of it. So I try to watch the sunset as it sets to the west and get that purple effect going. Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah. I think sunsets are just, I don't know, like, I like doing that. I like using that as a, when you do flash stuff, like I do a lot of flash photography, you can kind of put the sun behind the bike and put the flash in front of the bike because otherwise it would be more silhouette type stuff.
Yeah.
And I like that vibe, I like that a lot. But I'm also, it's kind of a phase. I feel like photographers, you go through phases where like I want all my shit to be, I want to chase, it's like you're chasing the dragon in a sense in that one like vibe. And then you kind of really just do a lot of it and you kind of get a little bit I'm not entertained about this anymore. Like I want to find something else that really speaks to me.
You have to change shit up to where you keep enjoying it, and then your like style develops and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and you like different things. And
the other thing I was gonna say is like because not to demeanor video at all because I think video definitely has a big place in everything that we're trying to do business wise. But I think a good photo lasts longer than a video ever will.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that either.
Yeah, because I mean, if I had a video of me walking around that bike at that moment right there, it would be like the other 5 of them I got on my phone. It just wouldn't.
You can't pin a video to the wall.
Yeah.
Well, not unless you're in Star Trek or Star Wars.
The photo, you're capturing a moment, and like that's the only ever. With a video, it's more about like capturing a vibe.
Yeah,
in my opinion, and it's they're kind of similar, but they're different. There's a just
when Instagram kind of like went the whole like we're trying to compete with TikTok route with doing the reels, and it really took it. I don't like it either. It took the joy of having a place to put a photo you take. It took it away. When I used to be able to post a photo. And it would go. It would get out and reach a lot of people and get a lot of fucking clicks on it and things like that. And then now when you post a photo, it's like it doesn't do a third of what it used to do.
They don't push people towards photos, and the photos they do push, they're trying to push you to like specific formats, which I mean really aren't like. If you're trying to put photos where you can print like something on a wall or put something in a magazine, it doesn't fucking work for that shit.
Yeah.
And then like. Don't get me started on fucking reels and TikToks and shit.
How do you like that shit?
I fucking hate them.
Okay. I don't like them either.
Because it's stupid. Like, well, okay, some of them are good.
Tell me how you feel, Bryn.
Some of them are good, but like 95% of them are just fucking garbage because it's stupid, mindless shit. Like we don't want to put effort in anything. People don't want to put effort into fucking anything, and so some people will create the same fucking TikTok or a different TikTok to the same fucking sound, and people like just eat that shit up. And like,
I don't even feel like they eat it up. I just think that that like. Yeah, they do
like
that shit.
I appreciate the ones you put out like for FASTLIFE, the FASTLIFE camp out one y'all put out like was it last week a couple days ago?
We've been talking about that.
Different photos
and you're trying a bunch of those type of reels,
and you're trying to capture a moment like that. I can appreciate.
Yeah,
or like
those are hard to do because it's a whole fucking weekend of capturing
or like
footage.
Anthony, the 494 digital guy from Daytona, he did some reels like a bunch of like the photos he took like that. I can appreciate.
He's a killer.
Yeah, you put some effort into that and like you time shit. You're basically like editing video in essence, like a little mini video edit. But that's not what the majority of it. That's like 1% of what's out there. The rest of it just mindless fucking garbage, and it's just
like you said, it's about catching a vibe, and those are the ones I like. Sit down. Steve's really good. Some of his buddies from Daytona, they're really good about getting a collection of it. It's mostly footage, and it gives you a vibe.
Yeah, you're just shooting everything on that long format.
I want to blow my fucking brains out when I hear that Mom always said I was born. And it's just a collection of like you riding around the weekend, like just the most generic, literally like puts my nuts.
I'm getting over the ones.
Tee, and a big Bertha titanium driver comes behind.
Let's say it.
Fucking knocks him 450 yards. Every fucking, like you said, it's the most unoriginal, uncreative, just.
But that's what Instagram and like TikTok are pushing. They don't push the people like where they do actually videos. They push like the dumb shit where they'll find a sound that they want to push and they'll fucking push that. And so it's just stupid.
Use this trending song. So this is the other thing that happened. So when Reels first came out, they were like, it was like what Sit Down Steve did. That reel I just put out about the camp out, I made that for the camp out at the end of it last time. I just threw the whole Be a Man thing in front of it just to kind of, because we now have, at the time, we can only do 30-second reels, right? Yeah. So that's how Sit Down Steve was doing it, and it inspired us to do it that way. Jaden's done a lot of reels over the last year about that. And then it got to a point where it was like, I did like one little riding past this FXR that I shot photos of in Sturgis and put like a nice little song behind it. It was 15 seconds, and it fucking went way bigger than the camp out one. And it's 15 seconds. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I just hate the fact that I put a lot of work into the one with the edit, and then this one is just like a little pass by with the phone.
That's really what it is. I'm just pissed off that I like put all this work and effort into something.
To learn how to
people
do
are
something.
like, man, fix your audio, and some dumbass is like fucking like, oh, I'm gonna sing to this song, or like I'm gonna talk over a comedian's voice, and it just fucking blows up.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Well, they're rewarding stupid shit. They're rewarding low attention span and that like gimme.
They're rewarding being mindless.
I like things that are inspiring, man. And I feel like the Sit Down Steve videos of Daytona last year were inspiring because I feel like I missed something. When someone's making these videos and they're trying to be super opinionated about certain things, like I don't save that Fox News, CNN shit from somebody else. Like I want its cool shit to see.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's talking about like.
I want to watch it too, based off maybe I wasn't there, and I want to be able to see it from that perspective, not necessarily some realist, some stupidness. Like I actually watch it the fact that I want to see something that I may have missed that I could because I couldn't be there, or I want to be in
create
that
a
moment.
vibe, like you said. Create
something,
the vibe of what I missed out on.
Yeah, what I missed out on.
Make me want to be there next time.
Exactly.
Make me feel like I've
100%.
missed out.
100%. I don't get like FOMO very much. I heard a lot of people talking about like FOMO at Daytona last year, but like the down south, I was planning on going to that to like a week or two beforehand.
I was hanging out with y'all in Daytona for Daytona last year,
but like because like some shit came up with like my normal job and also trying to catch up on my shit, and I wasn't able to go. And then I saw like some of those like first reels come out of like dude doing a burnout in a fucking bar. I was like, should have fucking went. Like
That
was down south. That was down south.
Down south.
Oh, is that not what I said? I'm sorry.
I think that's what you said.
Oh yeah. Well, no. Yeah, you might have. I don't know.
I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter.
I thought you said Daytona because Daytona.
Well, no,
last
I think
year
people were talking about getting FOMO for Daytona. And I was
You're right. The down south reels. You made a really good one. 2 or 3 people made really good. Wheelo, I think.
Apparently the one that went super viral was the Mercenary Motorcycle dudes.
Yeah,
that was like 6 million something views on that thing.
When you watch
Mercenary Motorcycle, that's something there.
Clothing. That was a shirt I had on earlier today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, dude. They're obviously they're military guys, and they fucking
obviously
party.
military guys.
Isn't
us military guys?
I don't know. Jay Utah is one of those guys. I know he hangs out with.
He's
them.
military, but I don't know yet. He's not like associated with the company. He fucks with them hard. I mean, they're homies, but they just happen to be happens to be military too.
Cool.
He's still active duty.
It's good to see these military guys doing something though. I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
I'm gonna go pee real quick. There's beer right here. If you need some more.
Oh man, we thought you were gonna put it in the bowl for us.
Yeah, they can say.
Sorry.
They took
Yeah,
shit.
I know. You gotta hold my hand.
Gunner shit. I forget your real name, dude. I'm sorry, but he does
He
some
got
fucking photos and
good-
shit. Yeah,
He got some good shots of Mama Tried. I don't know why. I never even pulled my camera out once when I was up there.
And Mama tried.
Yeah. I should have.
That's I think that's one of the things I want to go to like some of those videos, the pictures of it. That's one show I want to see the most because like some of the bikes and like how that show is set up.
yeah. It sucked.
It's pretty crazy.
I guess I don't know. I think I heard somebody say it's because they're getting back to their original time slot because they were like because they had a show in December and then they turned around and did it like a couple weeks ago, but it was at which I think apparently was supposed to there. I don't know anyway, but like they did like was it 3 months apart? Because they were adjusting their time, but it wound up landing at the same time as Daytona, and so you had to choose, right? Hey, am I going to Daytona or am I going to like Mama Tried kind of deal? So,
but yeah, now we get in the spring. Like I gotta figure out what like when I was in California, there's so many different bike things you could go do and see. Like now I'm here, I got to actually figure out what's the thing for Texas.
They're doing a Born Free here in Texas this year, right?
They are, yeah. It's going to be at that the Yellow Rose Canyon.
Okay.
The same place that they had a show. I'm brain farting. They had a show there at the end, like fallish, like a chopper show. It's a cool venue. We've been there before. This summer we went just to fuck around for the weekend, and it's a really cool. It's like a crater in the earth. So it's like a natural kind of amphitheater. They got a stage down there, perfectly set up for a really cool, especially a chopper show. I don't know a bunch of the details. I think they're still
Rose.
Yeah, I think they're still rolling it out, but that's what it's going to be. And it's going to be cool.
Because I love to like I'm trying to get in here now and meet some of the biker people because I now hear a new guy in town and there's not a lot of. I'm not used to this. I'm sorry.
You ain't trying to meet nobody.
I'm not trying to be
like holed up for like.
Yeah,
6
I've been
months.
held up. It's the truth, but I think the held up is the difference is like you go to town and you try to meet biker people and you're trying to get out and like have the communication that I've had in San Diego. It's not the same here. Like I meet it with guys that they don't ride the same. They don't. They just and I don't have a problem with bar hopping. I don't say that badly to people that bar hop. I just like to somewhat ride. I ride differently, and when I ride, and there's times to bar hop, but there's times I want to just get out and ride. I want to have a educational talk.
You need to get down towards the hill country, like towards the Grand pools and stuff like that.
So that's what I was going to bring up. So you were down. You said you're off Lake Palestine.
Yeah,
so
toward Tyler.
You're in East Texas.
Yeah,
you're in hell yeah, brother country. I mean, you know it.
Yeah.
There's not dude. You got the East Texas guys, but they're
Big Wood Cody's over there in East Texas. They're all over there in Kilgore, which is not too far from where you're at.
I think
we were talking about doing his bike, doing a spotlight on his bike when we were at Daytona. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in Tyler." I was like, "Well, fuck."
Well, tell him to come by the house. I don't know who is this guy.
I told him what we're gonna do. He's got a soft tail. It's like
he's right there behind you.
Yeah, Big Will Cody.
The blue flannel.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Dude,
he's got like super nice
half
bike.
of our guys that we go on this trip, this year's an
actually,
8-man trip.
yeah.
Half of our trip, I mean, there's me, Jace, 2 other dudes from Dallas, and there's 4 guys from East Texas.
I gotta get in there.
The best people, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
next
them
time
over
I'm
the
down,
house.
actually, because I knew like this time I wouldn't have time, but like next time I'm going to try and like see,
Yeah.
depending on what he's got going on, if he can
Oh,
come
he ain't
out.
doing shit but hitting the local long shots up.
Well, we're working on the bike all day tomorrow. Anyone want to come by and
Yeah.
drink beers and work on bike?
That was one of my things for when he went to the bathroom was, how do you like East Texas, especially coming from California? Because that's about opposite.
There's
It's beautiful.
two-
That's East Texas is where I want to live. I've got family down there. That's where I want to retire. But it ain't California. It ain't
There's
even
2
close.
things about I like and hate about it. I love it from the fact of the value of the land you can get here, the peace you can get here, just like my home and how the people are. You can't get that in California.
You like our government policies here?
I haven't had a chance to focus on, and being a military guy, I don't pay attention to government policies anymore. Like everyone talks about it, and bad on me. I'm sorry. I just don't really give a fuck what they do. I'm gonna live my life my way, and I don't pay attention to anyone fucking one else. I just don't fucking get into politics. I don't want to talk about it. I do my thing. I'm gonna live my life and have fun. And that's so far I've highly enjoyed Texas. I left California to buy property. I want to run horses. I want to run cows. I want to do my wannabe cowboy lifestyle, and I do it completely for me. I'm a kind of guy.
Yellowstone?
Yeah, I'm a Yellowstone. I don't know nothing about.
Nah, it's fucking with you. You were doing that shit back in,
Yeah, you've
in
been
San
doing that for a
Diego.
while.
I did it back in
yeah.
San. I've been doing it for a long time. This is what I do. I actually love it more than I love Harley Davidsons.
Yeah.
I would say I can afford a Harley Davidson. Being a rancher is very pricey. So the simple answer, because I miss California. Forget the politics of life, but California, the riding, the roads they had there, the vibe of the biker scene there is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's anywhere in the world. I have to admit, I
think it
don't
is.
think there's any place in the world that has the California,
100%.
Southern California biker scene, and I will always and forever miss that.
Yeah.
But I left California because I loved being a cowboy more than I love being a biker.
Yeah.
And from where I'm at in East Texas, and by taking my daughter to the rodeos and doing things, like I wouldn't trade that for any bike I have. I would give up all my bikes to continue to do it more if I could. But my little tiny ranch, my little tiny things, what I can afford and do. But that's to me, I would never leave East Texas based off just that statement right there.
That's rad.
Now that is to me, that's my
Makes my heart
He
feel
touched his
good.
heart.
yeah. But that's me. But that's not for everybody. Everyone, don't care about getting up every morning. I get up every morning. I get up every morning. Me and my wife get up stupid early every morning to go feed the horses. All the animals got going. I can't leave my house to go to some of the bike events and do some things because I got animals. I have things I have to do. So it kind of pins me at home. My son's grown. He's out of the house. I still got a daughter there, but I will never be able to leave based off my animals and my property. But to me, that's my passion now, not necessarily owning a cool motorcycle and riding. Even though I have cool motorcycles to ride, it's the reason why they got piles of dust all over them.
Yeah, it happens, man. I actually, I've always been a city boy my whole life. I've always wanted to be in the city, but the last 2 years have kind of made me not. I love people. I like to be social, but it's made me appreciate being away from all of it a lot more. Because the last place I lived in downtown Dallas, when we moved out to Waxahachie, where we're at now, the next year was pretty much when all the shit started going off in 2020. So this is 2020. That was the worst place to be. Like, I lived right next to the police station. That's where all the fucking rioting was going on. That's where all the crazy shit was going on downtown. And I'm just glad that I got out when I did. I still love going down there. Usually when we go out, that's where we go. But I don't know. It's just been one of those places. Like, I want to get out, and I kind of want to be more West Texas, I think, if I was going to buy some land.
Well, I think mine was West Texas. It seemed to me the reason why I stuck to East Texas a little bit more was West Texas seems more where I came from. Like California, it's more desertish, kind of like just.
That's kind of why I like it more
because and for me, I wanted the change of having pine trees and hills and the water, and I can look at my front yard and things are starting to turn green. Like the flowers are starting to come up. All the insects are coming out. I'll probably hate them in a little bit, but my point being is I see that. And
Y'all go to the Big Bend area much?
I was trying to finish building the T-Sport to go ride Big Bend.
So Em and I do usually around. So I have my daughter part time, and usually like so if I have her for Christmas, I have her from like school's out or after Christmas, and then I don't have her till like she goes back to school, which is like well after New Year's, or vice versa. So I have like a week and a half there of like just me and Emma, and so we'd always do like a road trip every year. And last year we did like Big Bend area, like dude, and I want to get back down on their bike so bad. There's a road that you leave Big Bend and it runs along like the Rio Grande, so that's right along the border. It's like super windy and shit. Yeah, I want to go to that shit.
Our buddy James with that blue bike just did it with his wife, but they didn't ride. They just went down there and did a whole.
Well, yeah, we were like I think we were in a rental car or whatever, but it's like, dude, that area was like super nice. I want to get back down there on a bike, so.
I like that. I like San Antonio and west of San Antonio, like further south and then west.
Mm-hmm. So San Antonio is like San Diego, so you pretty much like San Diego.
Yeah, I like San Diego. It was a good time.
I know, I'm just messing with you.
That was when I came out there. That was probably the most open place because the further north I went, the more closed off things were.
Yeah.
So, like, we were sitting there in a restaurant. We ate inside in a restaurant both times that we ate while I was in San Diego at that time.
And what upsets me, I think, a little bit more about East Texas or Texas in general, I don't know what Texas has that's like this bad vibe of California. People here passionately hate California. Passionately hate it.
It's the fear of having what we have and having it change.
But I think what they don't understand about California, what they think is California is really two towns. Like you get the L.A. and you get the San Francisco thing. I'm not arguing with those two towns.
I think it's one of those things where people like use millennial when they're talking about people. If they don't like somebody, they're like, oh, it's fucking millennial guy. It's just like a scapegoat thing. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I love
California.
Because there's a lot of cowboys here that think they're cowboys. But I was like, I was in San Diego and I cowboyed a lot with some true cowboy stuff there. And I like hear it's like everyone's like, you're from California. I'm like, well, I'm not from California. I was stationed there, but I didn't dislike it there.
Oh yeah. I feel like a lot of people like jump onto some kind of like ideology where it's like I know we're not trying to talk politics, but just in general, like when has anyone ever gave a fuck who the president was, right? And now all of a sudden, now it's a team. It's like you're rooting for the Dallas Cowboys or something. It's like I'm over that shit. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get Trump back in office. I'm like, man, can't we just find somebody else that's a Republican to do the job? Like, why does it have to be him?
I tell everyone I don't want everybody in 4 years go fucking vote. Yeah. Whoever fucking wins. Like whatever, dude. Like
so
just
out here, forget about it. I mean, out here, you get it out here heavy. You get it in Phoenix a lot too, or in Arizona. But you get these like caravans of fucking Trump supporters, and it's just like It literally looks like these guys used to be the biggest college football fans in the world, and then this is the new college football for them. Is watching CNN and Fox News.
I think we started like in the 90s with like fucking reality TV, and then our news stations turned into fucking reality TV, and so everybody's like fucking glued to and addicted to that shit, and just like fuck off. I don't want to hear your shit. I want it. Just go away. Like
that shit's annoying to me.
I quit a long time ago on it, and I've also done a thing that I don't think anyone else is. I actually don't let it bother me anymore because people's gonna have their opinions.
Yeah,
and you may be a Biden fan, you may be a Trump fan, you may be a whatever fan. Like I'm like whatever, dude. Do you like Harleys? Do you like horses? Do you like my thing? Then we can hang out. Don't talk about.
Where do they do rednecks with paychecks? Is that East Texas or is it like? I think it's north of Dallas where they do it. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I want to say it's a little it's south of Dallas. It's not quite East Texas. It's like a Terrell. Like
I heard that shit gets wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person like if you work hard, no matter what you work, if you work hard and you make a living for you and your family, and you want to be successful, and you want to like whoever you want to like, you want to go whatever church you want to go to, you want to hang around me. Let's don't talk about that junk. Like I could be my way, you can be your way. Let's
be a solid
guy, a solid person, solid gal, and you can hang out with me. I'll buy any beer for you you want. You can be best friends, and I'll come get you in the middle of the night.
Most people use those. Where's that?
But I think that's where a lot of the Texas like anti-California thing comes from. It's just people that go, "Hey, dude, our taxes are low. We kind of like what we have going on here." They look at you, even if it's not accurate. They look at all of California as L.A. and they just don't.
Yeah, because I had California tags on my vehicle when I got here, and I would pull in to bars and I'd hang out. My bikes have California tags on them, and he's like, "Dude, you're like," and I was like, "Dude, I have paid for the registration. I'm not going to change it to Texas registration until the tags expire. Like, why would I spend that money right now? Like, come on, that's stupid.
That's some Texas shit right there.
That's something like, what, you need to get some Texas tags fast? Like, I'm like, buddy, I will. He was, you California people. And I was like, I didn't even correct him anymore. I was like, buddy, I'm not from California. There's a couple Marine Corps bases in the world. Guess what the biggest Marine Corps is? Like in California. I was stationed there. It's like, whatever. Come on, buddy.
You're at a place where luckily you pull that card, it should kind of equate.
And it does, but I don't want to have to pull that card because if y'all hung around me long enough, I don't bring my military card up ever. Really. I'd try. It's what I did. It's not who I am.
Yeah.
Who I am is.
Well, I think that's what people. That's what I was getting at with people with these with politics, and they let all these things identify. They identify as that. I identify as a Trump fucking dude, or a Democrat, and it's like
they turn it into something.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be that much of who you are. It just maybe like, hey, you know,
I disagree with most all of them, and I probably agree with a lot of people that
I think we should just burn it all down.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Like
some people just want to watch the world burn.
I don't want to watch the world burn. I'm kind of a realist. I've been down that road before.
Leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, and that's where I am now. Like I served my country. I did my time, and I can talk with any vet that has any combat experience. I've had just as much combat experience as most, and we won't talk about that here at this table. That's not what I want to do. My point being is just like now when you come hang out with me, I just don't want that to be it. I want us to talk about enjoy life now. Like I've been down those roads. I've had the shadows, and I've fought myself to get out of that mindset. And now that I'm here, I'm like, let's just talk about the good times. Like, let's have a fucking beer. Let's talk about Harleys. Let's talk about riding. Let's talk about whatever it is that you like. I will even join in. And if you a basket weaver, like you can talk to me about it. He talks about cameras all the time with me, and I'll sit there deer in the headlights. So I'm like, what the fuck did you just say, man? I got an iPhone. It takes pretty good camera.
I got a camera.
But he enjoys it. So you got. I'm like. I'm not gonna disrespect
I just talk about random shit a lot of times because you tune out pretty quick. So I just start talking about fucking
That's
whatever.
the truth, though. But I won't ever disrespect anyone. But I will sit there, and you may see this blank stare, but you won't see an asshole comment come out unless you're being an asshole. Then I'm probably not even going to say nothing. I'm just going to punch you in the fucking teeth. But my point being is I'm just going to sit there like, yeah, it's your point of view. I'm just going to be nice about it, have a beer. Cheers, buddy. And I'm going to turn my back, and like that guy I'll never hang out with again.
Yeah.
I hang out with my close
group.
I
like most of the, like, we have a good scene here in Dallas too, and we got a lot of good dudes, and we pretty much, we do the normal guy shit. We just talk about our old ladies and complain about them. And
that's normal, though. Because mine's at home right now probably drinking a gallon of wine and complaining about me. Or she's actually probably not complaining about me. She's probably sitting on the couch right now with a bottle of wine. She's like, this motherfucker's not here. I got the couch. I'm not having to do anything.
I got the remote.
I got the remote. Yeah.
You got the juice now.
Yeah, I got the juice. She's chilling, getting her toenails done or something. I don't know what she's doing. She's like, oh, it's so quiet in here.
That Rednecks and Paychecks, just to fall back. That's where our buddy Joe Eldridge is from. It's in St. Joe.
Okay,
it's up north, right?
You gotta explain this.
Well, you gotta explain Rednecks and Paychecks.
I don't know much about it. Apparently it's like a super redneck kind of thing, but it's all like mudding and partying, and apparently some wild ass shit that goes down.
Well, I'm a redneck, I think.
I don't even know.
I don't know what classes anyone as a redneck anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah, they don't have an about us on this thing, but the way
it sounds like someplace I'd want to go have out. I want to see Bubba in some overalls. Throw me a beer.
They've got a big area of land, and it's one of those things where you pay your fee, you come in, you sign a waiver. If you get hurt out here, it's not on
you.
us.
Yeah,
and then they've got mud bogs, they've got camping area, and it's just people that like, I don't know, kind of like a beach party. If you've ever been down there with like the 4-wheelers are down at the beach. It's all jacked up side-by-sides and trucks and 4-wheelers, and it's rednecks with paychecks. Exactly what the fuck it says.
I will say that
people that have money, good fucking hardworking people that have money, and they want to go out there and cut loose. And obviously people are drinking and that kind of stuff.
Titties come out.
But it's I've also heard from people that have been there where it's
I miss Girls Gone Wild.
It's kind of a redneck.
Rednecks, Girls Gone Wild.
It evolves into that later at night, just like a bike rally or anything like that. But during the day, you could have your 13-year-old out there. And,
y'all do love y'all's trucks here. So there is some rednecks with some paychecks here.
Well,
these welding rigs I see drive by.
We got a lot of old money here, so a lot of the dudes, like, that's the first thing. That's the kit, the old guy kit, you know.
Yeah.
Lift the trucks, pop the wheels out, let's get it going, you know.
But I own a diesel guy. Them guys have bank in their trucks, like different. What we keep staring at up on the screen here.
So no, I was gonna make his titties comment made me think of this. It's Get Bent Moto. It's not Get Bent Moto. This is Get Bent.
I asked you that a million times.
I'm fucking with you. I never thought about it. You did the story earlier. Yeah. I didn't fucking think about it. I just like, okay, he said whatever. But Emma was like, is Jace thinking about titties? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, go listen to the story. You were like, get Ben T. Like you said 2 T's or
Do you know where the T comes from?
It's my middle name, yeah.
So, yeah. He's not
so does it get bent, like bent?
It's just get Bent Moto. It's a play on my, like Thomas is a middle name. Okay. So, like, I was always doing my photos. It was always like Ben T or Benjamin T. That was always my photo thing.
His bent name is Benjamin Thomas Nichols. So, it's like a play on it.
Wouldn't it be right? Get Ben T.
Get bent.
But this page just get bent.
You put it together.
Yeah.
He's just like, got to play on it.
Okay.
The whole point was like your titty comment, and everyone was making jokes that
you're making this too serious, bud.
Oh, Jay Bailey commented. They've got a place out in East Texas, right?
No, they're West Texas.
Okay,
they're Big Spring, West Texas. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like the name. I think it fucking flows. Like when
that was the point. It was just a play. Like it was a play on like me using like Ben T for my stuff, and I was like, oh, just fucking get bent and get Bent Moto and like fucking go with it or whatever. So,
it's like one of those things like, hey, go get bent, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Eat my shorts, man, dude.
Dude. I'm telling everybody to fuck off. I don't tell everybody to fuck off. I'm being. I'm being politically correct about that.
I should have just put all those words together, just like your logo.
I don't fucking care. I was just messing with you.
It is pretty cool to see it now because we always talk about doing stuff together as brothers and not doing stuff. We're not really doing it together, but doing stuff because this has nothing to do with me. So I'm completely supporting his thing.
You played a big role in helping me get this shit started. So don't say that. Yeah.
But my thing was, it's pretty cool to see it now because I don't know. We got a lot 2 hours into this. We talked about it, but now he's got the website going and everything that he has out there for it. And it's to see to be able to quit your job.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up next.
Yeah, quit your job to go straight into doing this full time is from an avenue of approach.
I might be homeless in a year, so don't get too.
Well, luckily, I have a house in the bedroom. But the point to the whole story we get is it's actually everyone talks about doing your dream and fulfilling things you want to do, and to be able to sit there and actually, in this time and age, to actually see someone that actually is like, you know what, supportive from his wife, obviously. Emma, 100%. Thank you a lot. Yeah. Love you if you're there listening. You know, to be able to say, hey, yeah, go do it, you know, and quit, because it's not like he quit like a simple job I was working. He wasn't a door greeter at Walmart. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to say what he did prior to this, but my point being, it wasn't like he was a door greeter at Walmart. He didn't go quit.
He had a career.
He had a career, a good career, and it's like, you know what, I'm gonna fulfill my dreams. I'm gonna go out there and do this because I actually love Harley Davidsons. I love filming. I love talking to people. He occasionally is an introvert, but he's doing extrovert shit and going meeting people and talking to people. And now you see that from a stage of videos, and people may make derogatory how the videos may come out, but they don't really see. I think it's pretty amazing as Big Brother looking down. Like it's actually like, I wish I'd have thought of that junk. You know what I mean?
I think so. Like we obviously we've been talking about you coming on for a couple of months now, especially once you moved here because I knew you were back and forth. But when you quit the job, I was like, all right, you got to come on now. We got to talk about this because you're all in now. You know what I mean?
So like, I've actually, like we talked when we first started. Like I've been doing this for like 4 years, and I feel like I developed a little bit of a craft. I think I'm a little bit above average. Like there are definitely like better photographers out there than me and videographers. Like there are some people that do some legit shit, but I definitely think I'm above average or whatever.
You feel like every time you go take a picture, like you go out to do a photo shoot, you know you're gonna walk away with quality 100%. Things.
Yeah, like fucking Ben's bike. Like that was fucking like the worst conditions you can fucking shoot in.
Pulled out
and I still think it was a fucking pretty good ass photo or whatever. And so like, I've been trying to do this, and like the normal like career was taken away from me really progressing anywhere because I just don't have fucking time. And then also like I work 50-hour weeks and I go home and work on my own shit at home for like another like fucking 30 hours. Yeah. And like there's like a mental drain there, and you just don't have the capacity and like bandwidth or whatever to fucking do that. And it was like taking away from me to be able to get anywhere with it because like I'm hitting a fucking brick wall that is like the normal fucking career. And so I was like, fuck it, like we're in a position to where like my wife's a fucking badass and she can fucking like do crazy shit. Like people like fucking thundermax are like fucking like helping me out with like little shit here and there, and like other people are giving me random gigs, and then like I'm finally getting to a point where YouTube I can make it's fucking chump change, but like I can make a fucking funk change. And so like I was like, if I'm gonna do this, like now's the time to like fucking do this. I'm almost 40. I gotta quit fucking dicking around. Yeah. And like fucking not to be cheesy, but like fucking take my shot. And so I'm gonna go at it and bust my ass and see where I can go. So
onto that same note about like I enjoy taking photos. I enjoy doing podcasts, and I want to do more videos whether it be vlog or something about what we got going on here. But paint is my career, right? But paint is very, very complicated as far as time consuming. You know what I mean?
My wife just said she's not drinking wine; she's drinking Tito's.
Okay. So, like paint, it takes a long time. It's something I'm married to for a lot of hours a day. Like 8-hour days in the paint world is like those are rookie numbers. You know what I'm saying? That ain't shit. So doing less of it frees more time up to do more things with this, because like this podcast, like if you think about it for YouTube, there's probably 5-10 minute clips that I could take out of this podcast, throw a logo on the front and the back of it, and put it out, and I could probably make more money on that 10-minute clip of us talking about cameras or you being a cowboy or things like that. That more people are going to watch that than will ever listen to this podcast, because it's, you see a fucking 5-hour podcast. We did a 6-hour podcast last night. I don't even know how good it was at the end of it, but we got fucked up. We had a good time. However good it was for everybody else, I don't give a fuck. I had fun in the studio with him. But a lot of people see that. They're not going to be like, yeah, fuck it, I want to see what this is about. But that 10-minute one, they will.
So that's the thing, like the difference between like fucking like Reels and TikToks when we were talking about earlier, and my videos that are anywhere from like fucking 10 to 40 minute longs, and then your podcasts are another level, which are anywhere from like 3 to 5 hours long.
Yeah.
Like you don't have just somebody fucking swiping through. You've got to like an engaged listener, like
exactly
checked in. And people are checked in. They want to listen to your shit or they want to watch my shit. It's not just something they're fucking scrolling through on my phone.
Yeah.
So like that's sometimes why it's like.
So when you look at the numbers that you have for your viewers,
I only pay attention to watch hours. Yeah.
They're more important because they're spending more time with your content,
100%,
as opposed to like, oh, they swiped through my video, but it still counted as a view.
Yeah, and I don't even, like, I've got a shit ton of views, but I don't pay attention to views. I pay attention solely to watch hours, because I want people, like, that means they've tuned into my shit, and they're actually watching it through. Like, because I actually want to be able to provide something quality. I actually want to sit down and watch, like, this 10 to 20 minute video or whatever it may wind up being, like, versus just like, oh, I saw it, and so you get your view, but then I'm, like just swiping through. Like, I actually want to produce something you can actually enjoy and get something from.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, like I said, when you decided to kind of make the move to kind of focus more on this stuff, I mean, honestly, man, like you're kind of like the you're the one, kind of trying it right now, because I guess you could look at my life and say like I'm already kind of doing it in some aspects, but I'm really not. Like I'm trapped with paint.
I mean, you put a shit ton of content with these things. Like you're definitely you're doing other stuff on top of it.
Dude,
you're 100% doing
hard.
it.
It's really hard. I mean, dude, I got so fucked up last night. I was drinking Pedialytes and Gatorade all day.
Yeah, we were watching last night and laughing, and we were like, we have no idea how this dude's going to do this again tomorrow night at all.
And I got another rager on Sunday or on Monday that I got to do. So
we're intentionally not bringing. We didn't bring the whiskey we thought about doing.
I was like, man.
Because we talked about whiskey and what we did last time, and I already was talking about going to the liquor store on the way here, and I was like, I have to get home at some point. We got to build this bike. Like, my idea of coming in here tonight was we're immediately lining whiskey shots up, and that's all we're going to do tonight. That was my thought process.
Millhouse is an amazing cuddler if you're looking for somebody to...
Cuddler?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But yeah, I was worried, man. I was like, fuck, man, I need to have the energy up and I need to be ready for it. But, like, I set this whole podcast up to be very easy. It's not hard. It's like, if I had to video this shit and edit it, then I would definitely not do video podcasts, 100%. Because we set it up to do the live version of it. And sometimes the lives that they can get squirrely with, like, the connection on the internet type things like that. But for the most part, like, all I really need is the audio. The audio for podcasting, audio is where it's at. It's not like I'm never with doing a 5-hour fucking video live. We're not gonna.
Like doing your lives and having them on YouTube is great though. Like because I listened to your podcast beforehand, but when you started doing this, I listened to so much more because like I'm more of like a visual person, obviously with photography and videography, and so like I'll put these even if I don't watch it live. Like, I'll put this shit on, like, at the house on the TV and let it go so I can listen to it while we're, like, fucking making dinner or, like, washing the dishes. And I can go sit on the couch for a bit and I can watch, like, 30 minutes of it. Then I'll get up and keep doing something else. But, like...
So it's kind of like the podcast, but also like a video.
Dude, yeah, when you start watching that...
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah. I work from home now, and I do a lot of work from home, and I have multiple screens going, and I'll have the YouTube in the background, and it's usually one of his, one of yours. I have my subscribers, which is like my favorite 3.
That was always my problem with podcasts and like work. Like I can if I put a podcast on work and I listen to like a 3-hour podcast, I'm either getting legit work done for 3 hours and I have no idea what I just listened to.
Yeah.
Or I've like listened to podcasts for 3 hours and I've gotten jack shit done for work. And so like I don't have the brain to where I can multitask and do both. And so like I always have to wait till like after hours, or I'm like on a trip like yesterday driving down. Like I didn't listen to your Proper Baggers podcast till like on the way down yesterday because I'm not able to like multitask and do 2 things at once like that. But when you did like the video thing, I like put it on the house last night instead of like watching some like other garbage on YouTube or something on fucking TV. We'll put your like podcast on YouTube and watch that. So.
It's always crazy when you see like I'll get like a text or tagged in a video or like a story of like a bunch of dudes drinking beer in a garage together watching the podcast. I'm like, that's fucking exactly what I envisioned, right?
Because it's kind of what you're recreating here.
Yeah, I mean this honestly, if I could build another set, I would make this look like a garage. Like we were in a garage with a toolbox and a fucking bike on a lift and make it look like we're hanging out in a garage. That's the studio I want to build, right?
Just put a table down there.
Then you have no room to paint. Like, what happened to your paint studio?
That's kind of the thing.
I've been up here and die of like toxic fumes and shit.
I've been thinking about doing something like that where the next iteration. So I was planning. I should be wrapped up. I should be caught up with work by Sturgis, and that's kind of my cutoff date where I'm gonna try to go all in on podcasting and find a way to make money with my camera. I have yet to find one paycheck with my camera, but that's not to say that I haven't gained a lot by using my camera. Like it's definitely made everything else in my world, like whether it's bikes, helmets, our trips, it's made it very badass. But
social media killed a photographer and be able to make money as a photographer.
Yeah.
Because so many companies just have that make, because people post shit all the time about products because they have a bike or something they want to show off, which is cool, and they'll put shit out, and like companies just want to take that and use that. And it's fucking free. And so when you get like it kind of took away from people that are doing photography, and like because like why am I going to pay for your? It's much better quality, and you can't fucking print other people's shit, and where I can print your shit.
Yeah.
But like I don't fucking need that anymore. I just got to make a post on Instagram or do like a reel on TikTok. So like. From like being a legit photographer stuff, for the most part, like it fucking killed.
Well, now it's like you can't be a photographer anymore. You got to be a media guy. You got to be a photographer. You got to do videography.
100%.
You got to be able to do a little bit of Photoshop and all that shit. So I like to use fueling as an example because fueling, out of nowhere, just they have a product that goes in your bike, right? It's not photogenic. It really isn't. But they use some very simple things to turn that shit, whether it's pouring paint or fucking assembly lube on it and shining some lights on it, to where you're seeing that fucking can with some fucking red assembly lube dripping on it. You're like, oh shit, like, am I supposed to be turned on by
I've
this?
got like a chubby.
Them guys do make it look awesome.
So that is the power of using a camera versus like just the thing. So this is the other thing, all right? So this is a thought that's jumped across my head and I don't fucking haven't figured it out yet. I'm going to splurt it out right now. Forever, we've lived in a world where social media and these big companies have just had to repost what we all create. And some companies lend themselves to have a better option, like of being able to do that. Like, you know, Simpson helmets is a good one because everybody and their mom is like going out and doing photo shoots with their helmets and things like that. They get a lot of good content coming their way. But the company that takes charge and ownership of the actual way that their shit's going to be fucking put out there, I don't know. They probably said something.
No, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
They, the people that take ownership and they start trying to curate the type of images they put on their own stuff, like they create their own content.
Yeah.
I think at some point, and this isn't a dig at anybody that does repost page or anything like that. I think at some point there's going to be this changing of the tides where if you didn't make your own content, you're a cuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're a brand and you're not out there fucking making your own videos with your own shit or your own photography with it, you're just relying on everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's going to get to that point 100%. Where the level is going to get here, and if you want to fuck in this world, you got to fuck on this level.
Yeah.
So
I really do hope it gets there, but like until it gets there, like social media, like it's kind of fucking fucked photographers for a lot of stuff right
but
now.
I guess the thing that gets into my statement with you is
I take a shit ton of good photos. I don't fucking post because I know if I post them, somebody's gonna fucking repost it and they're gonna add it to their shop page and put like a click on it. You can click on it and buy like a fucking $250 part.
Yeah.
And I spent I've spent $9,000 on like fucking gear the last year, and I spent all this fucking time learning how to Photoshop.
Brother. Preach.
And like they're gonna fucking take it and sell a $250 part and just go, hey, you took this photo, go fuck yourself. Like,
hey, bro, exposure.
Yeah, fuck those people.
But I guess I get it to the thing, like it's like exposure. But I tell him all the time, because y'all obviously have something I don't have. I don't do the photography, so I can't have the justification to work and be mad about the thievery of my work in a sense. Yeah. But at some point in time, I guess the thing is we got the people have to understand the money and sacrifice that goes into what you do.
Understand. They understand.
I think people think they do. I think people are also ignorant and lazy. And so what I mean by that is like there has to be like because friends usually try to support friends. Yeah. And when their business and their lifestyle and do. And you've started a podcast and people support by buying your paint to keep you going or buying your helmets. And
they do it by doing Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. Yeah, exactly. And so I told him the same. So we got. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah. So the thing gets into the thing. I say this to him all the time. Like, there's got to be a way to continue to, because I love watching the videos. How do we support the people that can keep their little thing going? Because obviously I have the job. I don't know shit about fucking taking a video, but I still want to watch your videos. Yeah. So how do I keep you doing videos, or how do I keep you doing your podcast? So how do we keep it going?
You know,
he's got a Patreon.
Yeah. Well, I have a Patreon thing, but this is the thing about paywalls, and that's what it is, right? Paywall is basically Netflix. If you want Netflix, it's $17 a month, and you get Netflix. It's like
$20 a month.
It's I think they raised it to like $20 now.
Is it?
Yeah. So that paywall allows them to create content, and it allows them to buy the rights for certain movies and TV shows and series to be on Netflix, right? YouTube is free, right? YouTube, people put content on YouTube and it's free. And Facebook is free. Instagram, all the social media things has always been on the free platform, because when you have 1 million users, they can now leverage that to put sponsorships on there and then make money. And where we never have to pay for it, but they're making billions of dollars with sponsors, right? Well, our motorcycle industry is not big enough for me to do that model. It's just not big enough. Like, if this was the hair or makeup industry or the photography industry, like that's a bigger world where more people do it. If this was a fucking podcast talking about college football, there's more people into that than are into motorcycles, right? So we're a niche of a niche, right? And so when you have these certain things, you have to find a way. Like, if you want cool magazines to be around, you have to buy them. If you don't buy them, they don't fucking exist, you know? If you want podcasts to be around that you enjoy listening to, and if you find yourself listening to podcasts a lot, like, here's a prime example. I listen to Rogan's podcast almost religiously, a few other ones, but Rogan doesn't have the option to pay for the Patreon. He's a 100 millionaire, right? I would still, if it was $10 a month, I would still fucking pay it. I don't give a fuck how much money he's making. He makes good shit that I fucking appreciate. And I use it every goddamn day, just like I use Netflix, right? I listen to Rogan's podcast more than I watch Netflix. And I pay $20 a month for Netflix.
Yeah.
Most people listen to our podcast. They listen to it. They listen to it every day at work when it's available, all day long. So they'll listen to a 4-hour podcast before lunch and another 4-hour podcast after lunch. So for 8 hours a day, you're hearing my fucking voice.
But you'll pay $20 Netflix.
I've done that and literally avoided you at bike night.
Yeah.
Like, you walked in, I was like, dude, I've heard you talk so much today. Fuck off. I don't even want to look at you tonight.
And the only reason I say that is because I think I'm the world's worst biker friend. Like, I'm friends with a lot of people, I support by buying people's stuff sometimes, and I don't realize the other way of supporting people through the way that would make them media. Like, I bought helmets from you. I'll buy stuff from everybody in the world that I actually like. That's kind of
that's kind of like where it's weird, right? Because I do get that kind of support, and once I figure out all my tax situation, we will have like apparel and things like that. But the thing is, with the helmets, like, I have so many people that want helmets, and I'm so fucking honored for that. But I can't do them.
Yeah,
that's the paint. I can't make more podcasts by doing more paint.
Correct, and that's what I was trying to get at. Like, the whole other part of supporting people was unknown to some. I'm an ignorant guy. I just don't pay attention to it. Unknown to me, I guess you could say. So I was like, well, I support people. Like, what'd you do? I'm like, well, I buy their stuff. Like, but it's not really any like, what did I buy?
I feel like, in regards to like you said something really good that I actually didn't even think of, about when you take photos of bikes and then next thing you know, that photo was on somebody else's page with a bunch of click now to buy buy these risers and things like that. And, I
get that to an extent because like a company.
The thing is that some of the people that's done it to me, I fuck with them and I love them. And now I'm kind of jaded. Like, hey, fucker, like, toss me something. When I need some fucking parts on my bike, now you don't want to give me a discount.
They won't even fucking acknowledge you. They won't even give you like credit or anything. They're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna take your shit. I'm gonna make money off of it and go eat a dick. Like that's what they're doing in essence. Like,
fuck, man, you fucked me up on that one because that is some good dudes has done it to me, man. I don't think they understand what they've done, but
I mean that's possible too. Yeah, but like in essence, like
I've done it. Like, I'm not saying I don't own a business, but I think I've done the same thing. Like, I take people's stuff for granted sometimes. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, you get from that point.
So, I've got Big Trouble, good homie. I think he was in the comments. He might still be listening right now. Every time I shoot photos of him, the biggest photos are, the dude's a fucking old man that's goddamn, I guess he's hot. I guess
he looks good.
I guess
he
looks
hot.
good.
I'd fuck him.
But
that last sticker, the Free Big Trouble sticker, was kind of hot.
Yeah,
spicy.
the naked one.
Yeah, it's like the shirt off, hands above his head.
Oh yeah.
Against the
when he was
arresting, it's like free. Yeah.
So I shot his Dyna after a show in Florida once, and those Dyna photos are still to this day. Like when I post them, they're the most. They get the most engagement I've ever had, and they get the most likes I've ever had, right? And then his recent bagger, I didn't paint it or anything, so I never posted it on my FASTLIFE garage. If my physical hands did not paint or provide something, then that goes on FASTLIFE visuals. It's just like me taking a picture of somebody's shit, and so that's about that, not the FASTLIFE garage, right? So there's a lot of people that have taken those photos that are super, air quotes, viral for our world, and put fucking ads on them.
Yeah.
And I did get tagged in the photos, but at the same time, I was like, bro, like how many people clicked that photo and bought those risers?
Yeah, right.
And now when I need risers on my bike, I can't.
They made enough money off of that to toss a little money your way for the photo. Because you spend a lot of time and effort and like your years of experience to get to where you can
You're
take
$9,000,
that
I'm
photo.
$14,000.
Yeah. And like it's fucking chump change. Like so I mean everybody like in the motorcycle industry support those who support you and fucking like just people jerking off in their mouths like fuck off.
That and if you know, you know. Those are two that get thrown around a lot.
Meh.
And I work from another company, and everyone wants to hook us.
I love it, man, because I've been saying that shit. With the magazine thing, it's a weird one because I think I've talked about it quite a bit in the last couple of months, and I try not to get super negative about it, but that was the thing. Like, I thought, being able to shoot, like, my bike, have it in the magazine, shooting for magazine, like, I really was like, fuck, man, like, this is awesome. I feel like all this time of growing photography, which hasn't been long, but I've had a camera for like 8 or 9 years. I'd always kept a camera around, and then I fucking said, you know what? I listened to something going into the pandemic about like, if you don't walk away with a fucking skill out of this, then you wasted all this free time. And so I was like, you know what? I'm fucking getting good at this during the pandemic, and I did. And the magazine was a way to like, man, like that would be so sick to like supplement not my whole income, but maybe a percentage of it with shooting bikes at a rally or here or there for, a magazine, or to have a place to put these things that is in print, because printing out your work is way different than looking at it on a screen. And then Sturgis was one of those realizations where like, I've always liked to do work for people that appreciated it. When I paint a helmet for somebody, the amount of stoked they are is amazing. When I shoot somebody's bike, they're stoked, right? Hey man, I'm representing so and so magazine. Dude, your bike's sick. Can I shoot it for you? That whole interaction with that guy, his bike, me, the camera, he's so fucking stoked. I could see it in his eyes. He's like, God damn, dude, my bike's gonna be in a magazine. I feel the energy coming off of him.
Dude, that's you feed off that shit. And like,
Yeah,
it inspires you, makes you want to do, 100%.
Well,
like,
the magazine doesn't make me feel that way when I give them all the photos, and you know, like they don't make me feel the same. The appreciation is not felt. So it's an appreciation, a lack of appreciation, and the fact that like, hey, we're giving you exposure. I'm like, you got 2,000 followers, dude. What exposure are you giving me?
Do they have that many? Anyway, like,
they just crossed that.
Anyway, like Molly's just that. Like, I didn't fucking have a huge issue with it. Like, fucking, I didn't know they even used those. Like, you sent them. You asked for the photos. I sent them to you.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of like fucking forgot about it. And then like, I found out like they were in the magazine because of Tommy. Because Tommy put up a story flipping through, and I didn't see the magazine. Yeah. I didn't know they were going to be in there or anything. Because he'd followed me like 2 weeks prior to like me finding out about all this shit. And so I was like, dude, those look fucking great in print. Like, I just assumed like I got credit or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Tommy called me like 2 hours later, like, because fucking Tommy's awesome. And like, he was like, oh, like, did you send the photos? Like, yeah, like whatever. Like, did not realizing I got credit or whatever. And like, Tommy's obviously like turning negative into a positive kind of deal. Because like, Tommy's like an awesome dude or whatever. And like, it was like, I mean, like, just fucking give me credit, whatever. And then you call me like 2 hours later, like you were man enough to like call me, like talk through it or whatever. And it's like, it's whatever. It helps Tommy and how's a Harley out. Like, it fucking sucks, but whatever, I'll suck it up. But like from them, I got like a, please call me. That's what I got. A fucking DM, please call me. Like,
I
like what?
So that the way that all went down, right? So in context of this, there's obviously like on my end, I dropped the ball somewhere, but it goes back to the whole thing of I feel like the whole magazine thing has been mismanaged since the day one, right? It hasn't been enough communication amongst everybody there. And I think that communication, if you're only doing things through email, then things get lost in translation.
Is key, like in everything.
Yeah.
Communication is fucking key. I know it's like
so,
stupid fucking like corporate.
I remember
like,
specifically.
Like,
I remember specifically when it was time to submit all the different things for that issue. You had just shot the bike, and they came out, and I think I was either talking to Tommy or something. And it came up, and I was like, you know, I'm going to reach out to Ben and see if he would want those in the magazine because he got the best photos of that bike out of the other two people, myself being one of them and somebody else shooting it, right? And so they used all your photos in the magazine. But what I did was I asked you, and like I said, going through all these fucking email things, I think of it like text message. Email to me is like text messages.
Yeah.
You send me something, I forward it to him. And that's all I did. You sent me the fucking either the Dropbox or the link, and I forwarded it straight to them without context of this. But they knew.
They knew it was mine.
They knew that, like, hey, I was like, hey, I got another guy, because they said they didn't like any of the photos that was provided. I was like, I got another guy that has a good deal of photos. His name is this, and this. I don't remember if it was a text message, a phone call, or another email. I don't remember, right? Because this was all like, I'm working and doing all my shit. This is in passing. Hey, bam, bam, bam. Solve the thing with Tommy. My boy Fish at Alleyway Customs was handling the whole article of that. And then the other guy just, he just dropped it. He wasn't paying attention.
I mean, regardless.
And then I introduced him to you at the fucking Smokies. I'm wearing the pants that got burnt.
Fucking, I remember that, yeah.
These are the pants that I was wearing. I did not do that. It was fucking burnt the shit out of my leg. So when I was, fucking, I don't want to relive that. I feel like Richard Pryor running in the street. I introduced him to them, and I assumed at that point that we got the photos of you.
Hate to like I knew how to know who I was or what I was doing or anything. Like why don't you fucking talk to me? Anyway, regardless, like the magazine could be fucking great for like the industry and everybody else. Like, so just fucking get your shit together and like fucking. Yeah. If Scott from Torque will help out and like whatnot, like we'll get there. But like, I mean, it is what it is at this point, and like fucking let's move on. And
there
like,
was they're going down the list of everybody that has a camera. They did it to Saks, you know. They tried to get Saks to do it for free, and
like if anybody else's photos, it wasn't like Tommy's photos. I mean, like no, like I'm not just giving these photos, but like Tommy's photos. I don't know. I feel like he earned that, like because he did the video with me. Like he gave me a great deal on the bike. Like I really liked the dude. I was like, yeah, it's Tommy's bike. Like fuck yeah, you.
Yeah, but if you're taking these photos and you're making the content, you're doing it for yourself, like your brand, what you're trying to build. So when you give all that shit you just did to somebody else,
I was like 4 videos in, so I felt like I needed people to like kind of work with me. Like I was like early on, I was giving people photos. Like if you do this with me, like I'm a nobody. Like I started off with like fucking 0 followers. Like I had fucking nothing. I started from like 0. It's like you do this with me, and like your reward for doing like because Tucker Speed was like fucking awesome. They did a video like that's like a 4th video.
Yeah, we shot down
on our
Utah,
trip.
On
and I sent them an Instagram message. They were like, "Fuck yeah, come through!" And like fucking like they were.
I think we talked about it.
Jordan and Tony were like fucking awesome, and like they like went out of their way and spent like 2 hours. They even like did like the rolling shots and shit with me.
Nice.
But like as part of it, I was like, yeah, okay, you do this with me because I'm like fucking like nobody trying to build my shit. I'll give you some photos for free. But since then I've kind of quit. I was like, I'll give you like Instagram quality shit. I'll expect more. I'll export my shit to where like you can have it and you make some posts to help yourself out. But I'm not giving shit that's like print quality that you can then turn around and send them like a magazine or like send to fucking some company to put on their website. You're not getting that quality level shit.
Exactly.
Like if you want it, like we can talk about that. But like I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to like protect myself kind of deal.
Yeah.
But early on, early on,
you turn quick from putting the hours in and learning stuff, and now that you have it down to a thing, now it's like, hey, I'm doing something for you, but at the same time,
well, I got
you got to do something. You got to do something for me.
Another company like fucking print one of my photos on the storefront. Didn't even fucking acknowledge me. Like it's just like I'm fucking done with that. Like
I think it's how people handle a business. And like you called me like multiple times that day during work. We had this conversation about it, and I think from my point of view, not being the photographer, not being anything personally connected to it, it's how someone handles it after the situation. And that
was my big thing.
Yeah, like you could have like easily. We're pretty laid back individuals, how we grew up and how we do things. Like it's a simple man to man conversation. You walk up, you shake someone's hand, like I fuck up, like. You fuck up. Just say you just did. Just put the man to man, spin your hand, look in someone's eyes, just have a beer. It's over.
That was my thing because like Tommy didn't have to. Because Tommy didn't. I gave just the photos. Tommy didn't have to say anything, but he called me. Like Tommy's like because of his bike. Like Tommy's like a fucking solid dude. He's called me, and you called me right after. Like fucking regardless what happened. Like you were like, hey, like I took nothing you did as like wrong, and you called me like man to man about it.
Yeah,
and like the fucking place that's using them was like a DM. Please call me. Like
I feel like the idea of like trying to steal someone else's work. First off, anybody's thought that I tried to do that, I'm like,
please call me when he had my number because he got it at the fucking Smokies.
Yeah, I feel like why the fuck?
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, he sent me a message and said you need to handle this. That's what he texted me. And then that night I'm supposed to be on the TV show. You remember that? Like that night,
I remember you talking about that.
Pulled out, and then that night I was supposed to be on this thing, and I'm like. I'm calling Tom. I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm pissed. I'm like, my thing was this with this
whole professionals. You want to be a professional.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like the only way I could take was the road that was highest and just whatever. Because everybody knows that my integrity. I'm not. I have a whole podcast about sharing everybody else. Why would I take someone's shit?
Yeah, 100%.
You know. But this is the thing that was like driving me nuts. Is that when this magazine started, they gave me this role called director of photography, right? And I didn't know what the fuck that meant, so I Googled it. Right, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah! I'm like, I love a challenge. I love a task. So I'm like, I'm gonna curate some of the baddest photographers in America. That way, we get the coolest fucking shots of all the coolest bikes, and we have this reach to get everything everywhere. Right, and then before the magazine was even close to being printed, I asked, "What's photography budget?" And they said 0. And I said, "How are we going to convince?"
It's a magazine. Pictures are in magazines.
Yeah, so it's
like fucking
you put 2 things.
Of a magazine.
Yeah.
People don't fucking
you got words and you got pictures.
Oh, people don't fucking read
magazines. People buy the magazine for pictures.
They flip through that shit. They don't fucking read it. Like,
so I was like, well, how can I, as an aspiring photographer or whatever, an amateur photographer, how do my right mind representing a magazine reach out to you and say, hey, we want you to shoot this bike while you're at this place for exposure that we don't have to offer.
The problem is too many people are into photography and they'll just give that shit away. Yeah, that's the fucking problem.
Well, that's kind of been the new thing because there's so many people that want that opportunity that don't realize that their power is, and they don't realize the fact that when they do something for free, If they do it for free, then we're never going to get paid.
They're fucking other people over at the moment,
themselves,
and they're fucking themselves over like 2 or 3 years down the road. But like, regardless, like if they don't get their shit together, I hope some other magazine comes around because it's still cool to have like a magazine, and I hope they get their shit together and treat people right and fucking do things right and like.
It is
lessons learned.
I even hit them. I even hit them with like some small, I think fair amounts of money to charge or to provide for photographers. There's supposed to be 5 features per issue. I was like, okay, so what if you gave each photographer for those features $500, right? It's not the amount of money that my buddy John Jackson gets to shoot something. But if we're doing something consistently together, I might get fucking 2 features in this bike. That might be $1,000 this month. And I look at it as more of a supplemental thing in my income. I'm not looking for it to be like a big nut that I'm making every month. Michael Lichter charges $5,000 to shoot a bike. But he also is an OG photographer since the 70s, so he has magazines around the world he can sell that photography to. And I have one right here, actually, by the way. Tell me, look at this magazine. I don't know where this is from, right? This whole fucking magazine is full of sick-ass photography and work. And I got this from somebody out overseas because this bike that I painted was in it. Let me get to it. Right here. So, that's fucking real photography right there. You know what I'm saying? Michael Lichter shot that bike at Sturgis in, black backdrop situation. And obviously nobody here wanted to pay him for that photo, so he had to send it to a magazine in like Europe or some shit.
Yeah.
And
I love these books.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what you call these kind of books that have.
We'll start doing those.
Yeah. The
I
photography.
thought about doing
I started on mine like a couple weeks ago.
I wasn't gonna say that out loud. That's kind of.
I wasn't either, but like whatever. I'm excited about it. Like
I think so. On that note, because I want to do one too, because I would buy yours 100% too. I thought it would be cool as shit is to take a whole year's worth of all the shit we're doing.
You're still in our ideas,
Did we
man.
just come best friends?
We just come best friends.
The biker yearbook.
Yeah,
we talked about that.
Yes.
Biker yearbook.
So like on that wall over there, so there's like a bunch of photos that I actually took, like say you up there, and then the one that was on the far left, that was $1 Million Highway. On the far right was a camp out. A couple of that was New York down there. So I'm like, you know what, it'd be dope to shoot all these things and then put like a book, like a photo book of the end of year that has no there's no point to it. There's no story to tell. It's just like
the photos tell a story. And that's what we were talking today. And we were saying, like, I think that I have, because I have several of these books in my house.
Yeah, let me lose a little bit of weight and let's reshoot that shit.
But I have these photos in my house.
They don't let my blood crack fly,
No, dude, you're good, man.
And then some of them are horses and things like that. But I was like, the photos tell a story.
Yeah.
And like I could just sit back. I sit back daily.
Well, have you ever seen a Stag mag? So
Stag,
I have all his magazines too, and that's how he
it's
he has
amazing.
0 words in it. It's all photography.
It says something.
I'm gonna do in essence do like a recap of like so I think I just finished was spotlight number 16, but it's 20 videos with the ones Emma does that I edit. And so doing like each spread is like a video.
Yeah.
And doing like some cool there'll be like 2 sentences in there about like, hey, this is like this dude's bike, like fucking like kind of what it is, because like my whole thing is about like supporting like these other people. Like this shit isn't about me. Like the majority of the interview is other people talking. I just try to ask a couple leading fucking questions and shit. And so do that, and then like every so many spotlights, like, hey, I'll let's fucking bring this shit back together and put it like in some cool format with like these photos I spent a shit ton of time on, and see if anybody's interested. Like they can use it like a collector's item, or they can fucking do whatever.
I think it'd be cool as shit. If you were doing one, if Chopsky did one, it would just be cool to see the world through someone did everything that you're doing, because Chopsy does a lot of wild shit.
And everybody's different styles and shit like that. It's fucking
all
cool
the different events you go to, all the things you're a part of, and the way you see it and the way you capture it. Like if you come to the camp out and you're shooting photos there, you're gonna get a lot of different. You're gonna get the get Bent Moto version of the camp out that I'm not going to get on
still
mine.
hung on to that T a little bit. Dude, he didn't want to let it go.
He wanted to go again, didn't he?
But I think a lot of what people understand is a lot of our inspiration from riding and how we do our journeys across the United States came from things like this.
Yeah.
Like it's I go by and I stare at this bike, and I'm not looking at I'm sorry.
No, finish. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not staring at just the bike. I'm staring at like destinations and places to visit. And like it inspires us to plan our next road trip.
Yeah.
Like this is like well, if he did this road, and I have a saying, if a man can do it, so can I.
Yeah. There's
like,
a Adventure Bike magazine. Like they do like it's like a digital thing.
What Meta?
Upshift.
That's right,
okay.
Dude. And like so they do. It's like a typical magazine, but anyway, they do. It's primarily like adventure bikes, but they have like legit photographers that get in there,
photos.
and these are all like photos with like it's there's a bike in the photo, but it's like some crazy landscape of like the fucking Rockies.
It's kind of bringing a lot of different aspects of photography into it,
dude. Like if you like trips and shit like that, regardless of like what kind of motorcycles you like there's some amazing like trip photos in there that are like motorcycle shit. So if you like that kind of photography, like with shit like this,
exactly,
fucking check that shit out. It's fucking.
That's I want people. I want to get the photos. That's why I've always liked Tim O'Keefe, because when he does do candid shit, he captures like a feeling in a photo, and that's something that I think that is as a aspiring photographer, I can set up a cool vibe, but can I capture something that I'm not manipulating? That's where I want to get, and I think through a photo book, I can get to the point of like capturing that feeling when you first get off your bike.
That's one of my big things with like photography is like trying to capture a feeling without filling with our vibe, without like going overboard with it, with the editing. Like that's one of the things, like when I shoot like natural light, like I want this to be like a real photo that you can print. It captures the vibe, but I'm not like going so far over here. Like some of that shit like people use on Instagram is like super like attention grabbing and stuff, but it's like it's not a photo anymore. And so like that's one of my big things with my photography all the time is like this needs to look real. This needs to be like a real photo, but I need to do just enough to like capture whatever vibe is putting out there.
There's photo editing gets wild, and that's what kind of can take away the realness to it. Like you want to find that line where you're editing a photo
to
where it looks like the sun's going down, maybe, but not to the point where it's like, like the photos on Instagram are edited to be more of a wow factor.
Yeah, as opposed to grab. It's an attention
if
grab.
you printed those photos, they sometimes don't have the same appeal as a well balanced color edit would be. You know what I mean? So like shooting things to print. Also like when you shoot things like, say, if somebody wants to collect your photography as art to put in their house, you sometimes have to shoot and edit to a tone of color to fit the environment. I've never liked black and white photography. I've never liked it because I always felt like it was low hanging fruit. It was easy to do. Every black and white photo looks cool for the most part. But recently I'm like, there has to be some kind of challenge in this, right? And maybe I'm not seeing it with the right eyes. So I was like, well, how can I use black and white photography to feed my love of photography? Because right now I just feel like it's put a black and white filter on it, everything looks cool. You know what I mean? It really does. Like you take a photo anywhere, you throw a black and white filter on it, all of a sudden it's like, God damn, like these dudes are fucking.
There's some cool black and white photos, but I have like no interest in it myself. Yeah.
I gotta pee.
I just don't know nothing about photography, so I end up doing the whole like just look at people's stuff.
Yeah, well, for there to be a photographer, there has to be a viewer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and from a viewer perspective, I just like, because they'll do all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I sit back and just enjoy the viewing of it, like the videos or whatever.
There's a lot of shit that photographers do that goes unnoticed, and like in terms of like a photo and taking a photo that draws your attention to the right part once you want the focus is, and like if you're just like if you don't understand the photography and you're just like a casual viewer, like our goal is to make you not notice that, is to draw your attention to the subject matter and make that look cool. And so it's shit like you should notice if you're not like hardcore into photography and you're not learning it. Like if we're doing the job correctly, we're taking the photo correctly, and we're editing it correctly, like a shit you shouldn't ever notice. If that makes sense. So I think that's a lot of times why it like goes underappreciated.
Because we have
that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because I actually have them, and I have the photographer in the family, so I get the photos for a very reasonable price to hang on my walls for free. But so it's for me, it's like a thing. But I get them all, and I have them all. I print them out and I put them up, and I just don't see. I see it from the visual. I see you working it, but if I looked at a photo, I don't see the work that goes behind it. Yeah, like I see it now because I see you doing it. But that's my point. I never would have ever guessed it. Like I wouldn't understand that some guy just showed up and riding his Harley, jeans got a burnt hole in them, and doing his thing. He just breaks out this camera, and I'm like, that's just a camera. Like, dude, that's months of paychecks. That's months of
the crazy thing
gear.
about that photo and the one of me right there is I actually got to know the photographer. There was a random guy there. The guy that shot that, I don't know who he is. He didn't have an Instagram. He was just there shooting, and he's like, "Hey, can I take a picture of you guys on your bikes?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" One of my favorite photos ever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And honestly, he didn't charge me for that, but I would have paid for it if he asked me to.
100%. Like I don't even know who's all in the pictures. I know it's yours now, but I would actually have that in my house hanging up. And like,
most everybody there has their version of that printed out in their house somewhere.
Yeah.
I just kind of went all out with a $400 metal print.
Yeah, but my point being is the actual photo for whoever took that and the people, like, it has nothing to do with just who's in the photos as much as it is it's a great photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was this old Bill Hicks bit about like when he would say like all the great music and people over the years has enhanced your life. They were real fucked up on drugs. Like to appreciate the drugs that created all the creativity in art, music, and movies and things like that. Well, the thing about photography is like you look at it every day in your life, everywhere you are, everywhere. You know, video is now the king, but photography is still used everywhere in the world, and you see it every day. So the hard part is how do you, you know, in such a trending hobby to get into, how do you turn it into something profitable? And I think it turns into one of those things like when you see a magazine or you see a billboard or you see anything going on where the image is still, that some photographer took that somewhere, right? And so if you like that, you know, why? It's kind of all of these other things, right? My house, I have a couple of paintings that I did hanging up, and then my wife bought a couple things off somebody's, like some tattoo artist kind of did some prints kind of thing. And I'm like, how many people have art in their house that are really made by artists? Photographers, pinstripers, painters, something, right? And I'm like, that's kind of a flex, right? I think it should be. Like, everybody's got a nice house, but, like, would you be allowed to would you buy a $400 print of something? You know what I'm saying? And put that in your house? You probably
I do, but I'm a weird guy.
He's bought several, yeah.
Yeah,
I bought several stuff, but I actually do it from a perspective of, like, I fall in love with something, and then I find that person, and I want to support that person to continue so I can get that product from them so I continue to do it. Like, he sent me a photo of a guy that paints Western stuff. Who's the guy?
Like Gabe Leonard. Dude, that dude's so rad.
But his stuff is to the point of, like, I'm, like, saving money just to buy a picture of ridiculous stuff because his stuff is obviously real, but I won't, like, I'm like, if I'm gonna like your stuff, then I gotta figure out a way to have that.
For me to become a photographer to sell, for someone to want to buy, this is the next thing I want to get into. I want to find a way to shoot things in my world that aren't specific to brands or people, where anybody would want to buy a picture of this bike or this scene to hang up in their house. That to me is like, at one point I was like, you know, one day I hope to get a cover of a magazine. I did it, and it fucking ruined my life in a weird way. But now with this is like the new way I'm trying to find a way to challenge myself with photography. Is I want to create something.
Create real art. You're not creating something.
I want to create real art out of what I love.
You're not creating marketing material. You're creating art. Yeah.
Exactly. Not marketing material. I'm not trying to sell Thundermax or anything like that. These nerds. Millhouse on my fucking hat, dude. This is bullshit. But no, I want to create images where people like want to buy it, and they, you know, we all got, you know, there's a lot of people that ride bikes, but they don't run their household. Their old ladies do. You know, those guys are out, those little cucks and shit. Yeah. And they got fucking horses on there. I know you like horses, but you know, there's like 3 horses running through a pond or some shit behind their couch.
He just said that.
But those couples out there that love motorcycles, they share that life together. They want a fucking cool ass picture of a performance bagger riding through the mountains.
Chase is your guy.
I want to provide that fucking couch art for you. You know what I'm saying? I just think it'd be cool as shit. I feel like
I should agree.
And I'm with you, because we try to do that when we were at the Vibe and going in, and I like that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's good.
At the same time, like it's fun. Me and my wife we don't have a lot of pictures of us hanging up in our house. Does that make sense? Like,
no, I'm with you on this. I do not like the walk down the hallway of the yearbook look. Like you walk down someone's house and it's like you got 15 billion photos hanging in the hallway. So you're hiding the beer over there. Jack Rabbit. I'm gonna get the Miller High Life.
There you go.
But it's like you walk down the hall. It's like a museum of weird people.
Yeah, it feels weird, but
yeah, like ours, I wanted it, and I kind of have the thing. Obviously, my house is kind of the Western theme going on, I won't, and we have a lot of blank walls. A lot of blank walls are based off. I'm waiting for him to print out some photographer, get his photography ready to print out so we can put it on the walls.
I want to get
it's a lot of work going on that. So I don't say that insulting. I'm just saying that we have these things, and we want to have our house full of art, or I'm gonna call them photos because to me they're photos of art of people that I want to support and things I like. And I have a friend of mine. Before I met the photographer, Ben became a photographer. We have one of my best photos. I don't know if it's any good photos. The one Joel took. The one friend of Isaac. My bike first got built. Yeah. Joel took a picture of my thing, and we have a picture of me and my wife and Ben and Emma on the Bonsall Bridge in Oceanside. Yep. And it's like one of my favorite photos. I haven't printed out the size, probably a little bigger than that, and it's hanging up. And I've had that photo printed out forever. And it's badass photo. Joel took the picture of it. And it's the badass photo of the bike. Like it's not in it. I don't even know. It doesn't even represent the bike as much as it represents like that particular moment.
Yeah, that time when you were there. You know what I mean?
It's us, and it captures we remember that the photos it's a solid ass fucking photo, but there's nothing overly if somebody else walked in and be like, oh, it's just like a fucking funny
thing. Well, if it's your house,
to us, it's it's fucking family, and it captures and in motorcycles, and we're all into bikes, and so it captures a lot of fucking things all in one fucking.
That's the worst time I've ever started paying attention to photographers.
Yeah. The
reason I did, and Ben will get me on this, and I love Joel, and he's crazy different little photographer. He was on the ground, he was giggling, laughing and jumping. I was like, what are you giggling about? And he was like this excitement man behind this photographer taking the picture. Like he would see something that I was sitting there and didn't see. Yeah. And he just immediately was there. We were just I wasn't making fun of him, but he was like the happiest little leprechaun. He looked like a little leprechaun back there laughing and giggling, laying on the ground, crawling around, taking pictures of the bike. And I was like, this guy is enjoying life, just taking pictures of a bike.
Last week I shot photos of Josh and Can't Stop the Mullet, his FXR, and it was behind the Buffalo Wild Wings down the street. Mm-hmm. Most typical pond thing going on. I was trying to not make it look like a typical photo shoot for a senior yearbook kind of thing or senior photos. And I honestly, man, I didn't think I was going to come out with anything because I didn't bring enough lights to shoot the things that I wanted to shoot. But once I got a couple shots and it came out, and I'm looking at him, I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah. You get stoked, this is going to be so sick. You know
That's the worst feeling when you're shooting something. You're just you're not digging what you're shooting kind of deal. It's the worst thing. So I've done a couple this didn't turn out what they wanted to, but a lot of times if I do that, I just sit on them for a while.
Yeah.
And then if I come to them with a fresh mind, I've kind of forgot about if I shoot them with the same mindset, if I go in and shoot, I'm fuck, I'm just not happy with how these are turning out. It's just not the right time of day or not the right setting. And if I go into editing with that same mindset, it's just I'm setting myself up for failure.
What you mean. Yeah.
To where if I take those and I just let them sit for a bit, then I can usually do something okay with them.
You ever came back after a year polishing your editing skills and looked at some early photos and re-edited it and be like, fuck yeah, this is dope.
Yeah, it's so much better. And that's one of those things you're a photographer, everything you're doing currently, oh, fuck yeah, this is badass. Yeah. And then you go back a year and a half later and you're
remember we went down right when the pandemic started. We went down to Deep Ellum. We all shot photos. Yeah. I got some shit that I really liked, but
Trent, right?
Me, you, and Trent went down there, and it was the streets were empty. Nobody was there, so we were parking bikes in the middle of the street and shit like that. And this was right when I started the FASTLIFE visuals page. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So if you go to that page and you scroll down to the very first photos, super heavy edit, super contrast, super structure, a lot of fucking that in it.
Yeah.
And then it starts to smooth out and mellow out and get more. You find sometimes I think it's just paint and photography for me. The hardest shit is the shit that looks natural.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the goal. It's you want to create a photo that's completely natural, but completely captures the vibe and everything. And it draws your attention.
Yeah.
It completely captures the vibe, but it looks like you're seeing it with your own eyes. It doesn't look like somebody's fucking created some crazy sky or something crazy edit on it. It just looks like you're looking at it in fucking person, but it just it fucking hits you at the same time. Mm-hmm. And getting that is I mean, I haven't got any there yet. That's the goal, but I haven't got there yet. But like, yeah.
I don't know.
It's a big journey. It's a big journey to getting. It's going to be a huge journey to get there. I may never get that fucking photo.
I like the fact that like it's one of those career paths that like there is no like top of the mountain. Like
100%. It's art. Like everybody has their own different perception of it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like you never get to the point where you've made it. Like, and when you have made it, that means that you have to redefine yourself to make it again. You know what I mean?
That's what.
It's a never-ending struggle, like being a creative in aspects. It's the same way with paint. It's the same way with photography, where, you know, you kind of, if you ever get to the point where you are kind of a guy that's creating trends, that's a good place to be as a professional. Mm-hmm. The things that you decide to do when you do them help. That happens when a lot of people love your work and you change your style up and people start following it. That's a trendsetter, right? In some aspects, I've gotten to that point with paint, definitely not with photography. I think that our podcast has kind of made more people pick up a camera, right? Because, I guess when the pandemic happened, a lot of people were looking for something to occupy their time, 100%. And the camera was kind of the way I worded it was like,
you can get it's a fun thing to do, and you can get into it for base level. You can get into camera for a reasonable amount of money, and so.
Well, the other thing is like one of the hardest things, like I've tried to explain this to people a lot, is that a lot of photographers don't know what to shoot. That's why they go on these like nature walks. They'll take pictures of flowers and butterflies and try to do street photography, which is, I get there's a place for street photography, but I think it's kind of like more for practice, if you will. Not like I don't give a fuck about it, you know.
100% agree.
But a lot of people have no fuck like. We are motorcycle guys, and we shoot things in the motorcycle world, and then we dabble in other areas that we want to shoot at, as opposed to, I just got a camera and I want to go take pictures of shit, so I'm going to like, you know, take pictures of the fucking, you know, the laundry detergent and put the light, you know what I mean? Like,
I got to make this street with water and a puddle and it look cool.
Yeah.
And that's
it's
what I'm
the food
fucking
photographer
do.
people.
Yeah, so there's like having something to shoot is a big challenge for a lot of people that don't have a scene they're attached to.
Yeah.
But I've always said, like, there's three things that got me into wanting to shoot pictures, right? One, going to magazine shoots when I was younger, and they would shoot bikes, and I always became quick friends with the photographer. Like, I was super interested in how they saw the bike, because when I would lay out graphics, I would set the bike up, and I would roll around it. So I have all these, like, money shot angles of bikes in my head, because I've always looked at them from painting aspects. Like, that fucking looks sick right here as the graphics come out of the tank. So then when I started shooting, I'm like, hey, I already got the fucking spot. Yeah. This is right here.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, one of the photographers that shot a lot of the bikes that I painted back in the big wheel days, he said, man, you should get a camera, because you take cool photos with your phone and you go to really badass places. If you do it with a camera, it'll be a little bit more meaningful. It'll be a little bit more this. And so I did. I bought a camera in 2016 and started doing that shit. And then I have no idea where I was going with that.
Lost yourself.
I did. I was starting to think about, like, man,
I do that a
Lose
lot.
yourself in the moment. You lose.
I just like to take the photos because I'm a big, huge bike guy in the sense I like parts and like the art of people building bikes.
I do. I love that too.
And the art you stare at, like some of the bikes you did, you spotlights on some of the bikes you're doing photos of. If you're a bike guy, you're not just you can see a bike and you don't see it for the flashy, just the paint job. You can see the thought that went into the process of build,
you appreciate
the
what you're
parts that are
shooting,
built.
just.
So I'm not a photographer. I wouldn't know how to operate anything, but I love looking at photos of bikes, not necessarily just for the photo, but the fact that they could capture what went into that person's thought process of that build. And for me, when y'all catch a picture that tells a story of that guy's build, that guy's work that went into it. Like when you do the things of like my machinist guy, he does some of the custom parts or the Speed Merchants FXR, like those parts, to be able to catch them and be able, from me looking at a bike and appreciating the work that went into building it, it says a lot, because you can't really.
I think a lot of times us photographers, we want to capture the things, like the process more, but that gets really difficult because most people that are building bikes or building parts, like they don't have the space to really, I don't know. You got to find the angle to catch the guy candidly working on something in a way that your photo can kind of tell the story. And I feel like that there's a challenge in that. So that's why I kind of want to do more of that. But at the same time, like, I don't have the fucking time. So I'm fucking envious, man. You quit your job. God damn it. I want to do that too. Fuck this place. I quit.
Done.
My boss is a dick, dude.
You are the boss.
I don't feel like I am.
I don't think because we were talking when he quit. Like, I don't think you'll ever feel that way, and the fact that you never feel that way can kind of make you work harder to be better at it.
I mean, I've got
the moment you feel that way is when you just like, all right, I'm done.
I've easily got the amount of work I can do with my spotlights. I'll easily be just as busy. I'll be able to focus on what I want to fucking do more.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt. But it's just whether or not I can fucking do it and
keep doing
have
it.
Emma not kick me out or like fucking not like be living in a tent in like 7 months. So
well, you got to run that bath water, and you know, as a man to man, pesto pasta is super easy to make, and it fucking hits.
Buy a bath
Massage
bomb.
some toes.
If you ever go to the grocery store, just dude.
I think Emma might punch me in the nuts if I bought her a bath bomb. I really do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's one of those things I just throw in. If I'm
Emma's not like
if I'm buying groceries or anything at the grocery store, I swing by.
It was like super low maintenance and like she's like no bullshit. I mean, she fucking rides herself. Like, yeah, I think if I got into that kind of shit, she'd be like, "Get the fuck out of my house!" Like for doing that shit, not because I wasn't helping her out.
She has a strap on, huh?
Oh yeah,
he likes it rough. But I think it's great that he can do it. Because, you know, the supportive wife, you have a supportive wife, and everyone has the one that you can do your things you like. And sometimes it gets to the point of like, it's about money, it's about making it in life, but at the same time, it's about people understand certain roles they have in a relationship and certain things they can do, and they want to be supportive of it and have a good time doing it. And I think that in your case, she is very much excited about you doing it as more than you doing it. You know,
I'm in a very unique position to where I can do this, and I have a wife that like not only supports me in doing it, like obviously both like she's like a fucking rock star. She even before like I'm quitting my job, she makes more than I fucking do. She fucking helps me out a ton with these.
What
like,
would that be like?
She fucking drives this shit, and like she'll like. Like one of the big things early on was everybody's like, "Oh, well, fucking like you're asking a question, but I can't see you on camera." I got that feedback a lot, and so that's when I started like the whole like side by side thing. And I'll set one camera up on a tripod, and then she'll sit over there with like holding the gimbal and like the nicer camera and shit like that. And then also like her dad was like that was his whole career was photographer. He was like the chief photographer for the state of Tennessee or whatever. And so she's not like a super artistic person, but she understands like composition and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
And so there have been several times where at like a photo shoot or I'm trying to create an intro or kind of come up with ideas, and she's like, "What about this?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck yeah! Like,
that's
I'm
cool.
gonna do that."
Yeah.
Please don't tell her the nice
been
things.
like, she's like, I mean, yeah,
I'm
she's
messing
like
I'm messing with him right now.
So
No, that's actually really cool, man. Like, you know, when I first got into doing the photography, my wife has been more of my muse to kind of learn how to shoot people, but I never really wanted to get into a place of shooting other people. Like I never really cared about shooting models. Like, but there was an aspect where I wanted to know that I could.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't want to have a skill within this craft, or I don't want to lack a skill in this craft that I don't know how to deal with. And it was not so much I want to shoot chicks, but it was like,
you want to develop that skill set. So
shooting a person is shooting a person.
Yes.
Like, men have certain angles and women don't, right? You most women don't want to be shot from below, right? Most men do want to be shot from below. 100%, so it's a difference of how you photograph someone that kind of gives them the most flattering
that's
version
another thing.
of themselves.
Like, she's like, I'm constantly sticking a camera in front of her face because I'm trying to try different things, and like I'm not always the most patient person with her when I'm shooting, and she deals with that. So like,
I'd always tell my
I'm not
wife,
a patient person.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. You're not patient in general.
But like, still, like, so
when I would shoot, like, there's been times we would come here and shoot some stuff and a little more risque type shit.
Yeah.
And the way I would talk to my wife, there's no way I could ever talk to a model that way.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Babe, pull your titty out a little bit this way."
Yeah.
And
or my thing's like,
and fluff it.
I can't articulate. I can't
Give a slap.
I don't want to have to make that nipple pop out in the fucking Photoshop. I want to see it in real life.
I'll see it.
But yeah, like a lot of times, like I'm dealing with her, like I'm not always the best communicator, so I can't articulate what I want her to do, and so I'm getting frustrated. But it's more myself than her, and like she deals with that shit, and like so it's just kind of
It's tough, man. Like there's a like I would like to. I don't know. I don't necessarily. I don't really know what I want to do. I want challenges. I want opportunities, and I want an opportunity to do something, and that I didn't expect, and then have to figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah,
as to help me kind of navigate the pathways with photography. As of now, like it's more of I'm gonna keep shooting the helmets and the paint jobs we do and the travels we do. I'm gonna try to be more mindful of shooting freely with things because I've gotten a lot of really great photos of all the friends over the last couple of years at our events, and I like capturing that. It's been a great, it's been fulfilling to do that, right? Instead of like these big shoots, you know what I mean? Like I shot a blue bike that we painted a couple weeks ago, and going to bike night, I had everything I owned camera equipment wise. It was like I felt like I was shooting a goddamn commercial for something down there. And I love doing riding shots. I love riding on the back of a bike and capturing those.
Dude, riding shots are amazing, but I don't get a chance to do them very often. Yeah. Like, I know some of the other videos, like when you were around, like Grady could drive and I could do it, or a couple of Emma drove, but like I don't get a chance to do like the riding, like the action shots.
I feel like if you're in the car, like you can't get the same.
I started working on panning a lot more. Do more of those. The panning shots are difficult. I think I got a cool, one of my favorite shots I've gotten are at the thundermax, Club South Tennessee annual party like last year. Bent Moto 636, I think he was like scraping coming through, and I was like panning at a pretty slow shutter speed. It's a really cool shot. And then Junkyard Kenny at one of like the HPI bike nights are like two of my favorite photos because I hit it perfect with the pan and they're in focus, but everything else behind them is like that blur when you slow your shutter speed down.
When you try to shoot that way, because when I shot my bagger for the magazine, Jaden, I was like, "Hey man, can you ride the bike back and forth?"
Yeah.
The panning for everybody that's like listening is like you're standing and you're following and trying to get the shot.
Speed, yeah.
And it's really hard to nail focus on it because the camera is looking for something to focus on when they take the pictures. When you're riding, like when I'm on the back of a bike, it's super uncomfortable. But
you're the same speed as the subject.
I'm the same speed, but I'm also I can get the camera so much lower in angles that you will never see a bike from.
Which is what's big on a photo. You're getting a non-typical angle.
Yeah.
The ones you did with the that light blue, silver white paint job.
Yeah.
The one you did recently. Yeah.
Recently.
Like those were fucking.
I got a bunch of bangers out of that one. I think honestly the best photos I ever got riding was when our buddy Wheelo Skilo.
You got some good ones at the down south too, right?
No. Thundermax actually used one of those, and it's cool, but I wasn't really happy with it. Yeah.
It was a pretty cloudy, dark day.
It was a cloudy day, so I was trying to edit it in a way that was still kind of interesting, and it just really wasn't. But Millhouse and Tarpon Turbo was on that shot.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So it was cool, but it was good for them. I was glad I gave them a photo, but it wasn't quite the. I could show you like we did from the shop. We went back and did like a mile loop, and I got 450 photos. Whenever I rode on the back of my new bagger, shooting pictures of Torque Magazine Scott on my fucking, that's his new nickname. He was riding my bagger, so he was the one on the cover of the bike, or on the cover of the magazine, because I wanted to shoot it, so I needed someone else to ride the bike. Yeah. And I have at least 50 banger-ass fucking photos with good, slow shutter speed where it's fucking dragging a little bit of the background, super crisp image.
Yeah.
Different angles, left side, right side of the bike. I fucking loved that. And it was so quick. And I did it this way and caught the right side of the bike, like the kickstand side down, because the sun was coming down over here. So I was able to catch the sun coming through some trees, catch some really nice foot. And then on the other side, coming back down the main road here, I was able to put him there, catch the exhaust side of the bike with the sun hitting as well, use the natural light. And those are like the best photos ever done, in my opinion, riding. We did Jake's photos of the blue bike. He was in Deep Ellum. It was before bike night. I'm not really a big fan of shooting late. I don't like raising my ISO up.
Okay.
But I had to a lot because we were shooting very dark, and I was trying to capture the lighting of the bike because he's running some of the electric lighting stuff. Once again, for brand shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. I don't know. I love it.
It's always going to be a balance there. Like, you got to be able, if you're going to make a living out of it, you got to shoot like the marketing material. But like, if as an artist you want to like do solely what you want to do, kind of deal. So you should do one of these, like a FASTLIFE one, dude.
I plan on it. I'm hoping that with
the camp out one. Sorry, the FASTLIFE camp out. Well, FASTLIFE 2.
Well,
but
the camp out one.
Camp out one, like.
So here, the thing with the camp out, right, is we have a lot of photographers coming. If you're coming, then you're another.
Yeah,
one
I'm coming.
And so the thing is, I want to find a way to.
I can't promise how many photos I'll be taking, but I'm coming.
Yeah, you'll do you'll want.
I'm actually now going to come back on my trip early.
You should, because
I actually thought it was later from the year. I don't know why I did that, or we usually talk about a lot of stuff, and I don't know why we haven't had this discussion about the
Because you were going to
FASTLIFE.
be gone.
Yeah, I know that, but I would have came back from Africa earlier.
Oh, I didn't bring it up because I knew you were going to be gone.
Yeah,
so
I'm coming back now to intentionally do this. Like, I got to figure out this whole little plan now because I already
You're
bought
going to
my...
meet a lot of dudes that live in your neck of the woods, so you're going to become.
but
we just become best friends.
Yeah, we just
Second
best friends.
time,
I just didn't. I don't know why in my head. Like, I think that's my thing. I get sidetracked on things I do so much that I don't focus on the rest of the world and what they do.
Yeah.
And I did not pay attention to when your show is going on.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I actually have to leave next Friday, but I'm actually now going to come back on. I think I'm going to come back on what did you say? It's the 5th, right?
It starts the 5th, which is Thursday.
I'm going to have to come back on I'll fly back on the 4th, but I won't be there to probably the end of the 5th, the 6th. How far is the drive is this from here? It's not that far.
From your house, it's about 200 miles.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's straight
in
north.
Oklahoma, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, but I just don't know why I didn't think about it. Because that's a perfect event. Like,
It really is. I mean,
yeah, I don't even know why I didn't even
I've already
plan
warned everybody of this podcast. This next month and a half, you're not getting away with not hearing it. And the month after, you're going to be hearing us talk about what took place. So fucking get with it.
Where'd you say you were going out of town right before the camp out?
I am going to Africa. I'm actually flying in Friday to.
Little delay on my part. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that time
You
down.
need to have that ready on the camp out when he fucking rolls up. Just fucking hit that shit on the
blame it,
speakers
blame it.
and like.
I'm gonna come back. No, anyway.
Near the beach.
We just got demonetized too by Walt Disney. So sorry. I purposely didn't say retarded,
Easy.
gay, or something else like that. I wanted to say like 2 hours ago because I was like, I'm not gonna fucking.
Yeah,
say
well,
that.
Dude, that's like that. Like YouTube, like when I did these videos, I might make a point. It's like I don't give a fuck. Like, sorry, just brought the football. Like, I'm not trying to like not cuss or anything like that. But on like Johnny's bike, the purple bike, like I made a point of like trying not to like say ass, especially early on, the first like 5 or 10 minutes, like drop a bunch of like curse words and shit like that. And dude, that video did like in terms of views and shit, like fucking like skyrocketed compared to like me just like normally like just shooting the shit with people. No, I'm still gonna just shoot the shit with people and like do normal because that's
they
what
want
most
you
people
to
care
they want
about.
to curate your words.
But when I like fucking like, because they ask you now like if you include a bunch of shit like that, because I guess it determines what ads they put on your videos. But that was the only one I've ever actually like, okay, I'm gonna try and like pull it back a little bit. I didn't like tell him that because he can say whatever, but it's like, but personally, and like just the performance was like 500% of what like my normals is. Like Not Very Interesting Ben's video, I think when we left the house had like 1,000 views or pretty close to it. Like Johnny's at that point, I'd already had like 2,500 or some shit like that. And that's the only thing I can think is the difference. Like I asked like very similar questions, like stuff like that.
I just want to know the world to know that I was his first video. That's all I want to say.
Okay, big guy.
So when he gets daggone famous, I'm like, yeah, I was his first video.
I remember when he wasn't cool.
I remember when he wasn't cool.
Still not cool. I just give you cool people. So
Yeah, whatever.
Remember when we called him Bent Moto?
We were going Bent Moto.
His name was Bent Moto. Like I was trying to be
dude, I don't.
pronunciation.
I was fucking.
Well, it's just
I don't
enjoyable
care.
now to be
Like,
around it. Like you have, because getting into bikes and have brothers that's into it and into builds, and we got you're building bikes. We do the same kind of thing. All of us are enjoyable, not just to owning them, but to customize them, watching the videos of them, and now we're all like part of it. As much as we were doing it from a business standpoint, y'all talked about photography and videography for hours, but you're also guys riding. Spending your own hard-earned money to build bikes, to do the passion you like. And we're building bikes that's probably out of our element of building it, too. So we get into it. And I've built my share. I don't do photography or photos like you do, but I'm doing this. Yeah, it's amazing to watch and see and be a part of.
That's one of the weird things is like, as I try and get better at this, I'm getting more equipment. And like when I first started these, I would fucking ride to all these. Like for like when I moved up to Milwaukee for like the Van Vex cycle bike, that's like Milwaukee. I got to ride the bagger up there because I had like fucking like I could cram that shit in my saddlebag and stuff like that. When I went to Lefevre's bike, his chopper, I got fucking like that video. If you watch it, I was soaking fucking wet because I got rained on for like 30 minutes prior to where I got there, and all that shit was in my saddlebags. But now like I've got additional cameras. I got a gimbal. I've got like 2 like little LED like panel lights I use like to get a little better lighting and shit like that. And so now like I pretty much like have to drive if I'm going to take all my equipment. Yeah, so that's one of those things like. When I first started this, like I could fucking ride to this shit, so it gave me a chance to ride and stuff like that. And now I'm getting to the point to where I can't ride.
Well, I think that as you keep building this kind of whole channel that you got, you're gonna have the spotlight videos, but then you could also 100% do the behind the scene, the BTS version of it. Maybe the ride to there and setting up and like
And I'll have time to do that now that I'm going to try this full time. And like I've thought about doing some of that kind of shit. And actually, like I've started a Patreon. I haven't put it out there anywhere. I think it might be on my website. I think it's on my. Anyway,
you did a Patreon. I want to see that ass, boy.
But anyway, butthole.
I'm gonna butthole.
Oh yeah, butthole. That's what OnlyFans is for. I won't start an OnlyFans.
You can do it on Patreon too.
Oh, you can? Okay, but put some of that kind of behind the scenes
so we
shit
can
on
like
there.
check out OnlyFans just to see if it's worth it, like a burner account so it doesn't come in our shit.
So Kyle's got a buddy at work apparently that all his coworkers will like all his married coworkers are like, hey dude, I want to see this chick's OnlyFans, but I can't put it on mine.
Yeah, it's like a group OnlyFans.
Kyle's got a guy for that, I guess, and we can work out with him the details on getting it because I saw somebody recently.
I'm supporting them. I don't know how I'm gonna support them, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you see like one guy that has like a burner phone kind of situation where all the accounts to the phone, you can go check out.
So are they worried about their wife finding out?
Yeah, because it's creepy. It really is when you think about it. But at the same time, it's like you're scrolling down some Instagram and some chick on there like, OnlyFans, how much?
Shit.
$5?
If I was a chick and I was hot as fuck, I'd have an OnlyFans.
Maybe I'm a moron.
Those people make shit tons of money. Like,
because I'm a moron, I'm worried about hackers and stuff like that. Like so porn free phone, the daily user, the daily driver. So my iPhone X or 10 or whatever it was, the one that's hidden in my closet.
Keep your old iPhone when you ever.
I don't know. I've never had a wife like that. My wife is pretty not jealous or pretty whatever else. But again, I don't guess I don't do a lot of that stuff. But my point being is like I don't like the girls go out there and create an OnlyFans. Like I'll support her. Like I don't know any OnlyFans girls, so I can't say I support anyone on OnlyFans. But like that's what you do for a living. Go
I bought
do
that chick a dinner.
Yeah, I bought that chick a dinner. Like fuck, I'll support your ass. Like that's what you do for a living. Like I'm not gonna shame on you for it. Oh man, I'll support that. Like I don't know anyone, but
I guess I'm just getting to the age where like I know I'm not gonna ever have any of that.
Yeah. I'm beyond the age of that.
OnlyFans chick. So I'm like, I guess I kind of just
when my son walks into me with his my son walks into me with his girlfriend and stuff and start talking to people, and I go into a bar and I'm sitting at the girl and I'm sitting there drinking a beer and talking with her, and I'm not like I'm flirting with her or something. She turns, looked at me, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm whatever age she is." I'm like, "Yeah, you could be dating my son." Immediately, it just turns into like, "Yeah, I'm the old guy now."
Yeah,
like what the fuck just happened to me?
There's actually channels for that on Pornhub.
Yeah, it just gets my mind boggles now. I look
Don't
at
ever sell yourself short. I mean, if you're at a point where I think you're married, but if you're ever the single guy and you just think oh man, I'm getting old, dude. There's somebody that likes that. There's somebody that likes that. Play your cards.
The problem is with any girl that likes that, she'll come up to me. I was like, "You got 5 seconds of fun for a week of daggone recovery." You want money? Yeah, go find my ex-wife. She took it all.
Well,
I don't have an ex-wife.
We've done good.
Yes.
We've done good. We're not that drunk. Right?
Actually, I'm actually kind of shocked. I'm actually disappointed almost. I got 4 beers.
4.5 beers.
I'm actually like immediately shocked. I was worried this. Every time I usually am with you,
we get fucked up.
Not that pleasant.
Yeah. Well, it's pleasant, but
I don't recall the last meeting.
You remember this.
I don't recall the last meeting with you.
It was a good time.
We will talk about it after the air goes off, but I don't recall our last meeting. And the meeting prior to that, I don't think was any much better.
No, the first podcast we did with Lucky Dave's and you, we weren't drinking on that podcast.
Okay.
That was like a middle of the day, and then remember my wife was with me. The last one was like we partied all fucking day together, and then we fucking did a podcast later on that night.
I wasn't working with Dave then, though. I don't think. I was with me and Dave were all friends, but we were not. I wasn't done.
Yeah.
I was retired.
So no, it's been good, man. I'm glad you came in finally, and also, man, like as you've been on, this is your third time being on. Like this podcast is to help support everybody out there doing everything. So as you keep doing what you're doing, you got to come back through and talk about the growth that you've had and things and stuff like that. And so, like I said, with you jumping out and doing your own thing and taking the big, jumping off the big diving board, essentially, like, dude, whatever our listeners or whatever can do to kind of, help you, not be beholden to your wife as the only breadwinner in the family.
Carry my dead weight.
Yeah.
If you like my shit, watch it. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Support it, subscribe, or whatever the fucking that kind of bullshit is. Like,
so on YouTube, they can find you at what?
Get Bent Moto. Just one word. Just type it together. GETBNTMOTO. Man, I can spell from Mississippi. Dude. But yeah, I mean, just
if you live in Mississippi, you should be able to spell. That's a fucking big ass word.
It's all the same letters.
Yeah, it's like 4 letters in the whole damn word.
The biggest word of the whole. Yeah.
But yeah, if you like it, just fucking go watch that shit and
nice.
That kind of deal.
Have you started like making reels to get paid on those yet?
Reels? No, I don't fucking know. I've started putting I put my intro videos out there. I'll put them on Instagram. They get like fucking 200 views because it's not a real format. It's not like the up and down. It's like the landscape shit. But no, like if you want, just check the YouTube out.
Just look at the YouTube. Yeah, it helps. If you watch it on YouTube, it's going to help your AdSense and all that type of stuff go somewhere. So
yeah, and I get a decent amount of watch hours, but apparently subscribers help a ton. My subscribers consistently grow, but that just takes time. So I mean, if you like it, just fucking watch it and
subscribe.
I feel like a lot of people that watch even our podcast on YouTube, they're not like you. They don't have a profile on YouTube. That's the weird thing about YouTube is to subscribe, you have to actually create a YouTube account, right? And it's not like a Facebook or a MySpace account because most people aren't making videos; they're just there to consume videos, right? 100%. So why would they want to fucking have an account?
Yeah, that's me. I've got I have over 17,000 watch hours. Like watch hours. For my 10 to 15 minute videos. There's people engaged, but I only have like 1,700 subscribers or some shit like that. So I think I have this video my watch because it gives you all the fucking graphics, and I have more watch hours and shit come from non-subscribers than I do subscribers. So just fucking
people that come and check your video from other platforms, essentially.
So if you like the shit, create an account.
Just you and your wife don't do what all these other chicks are doing on YouTube, where they start not wearing bras and riding around.
We're not gonna be doing clickbaity shit.
Dude, it's so.
What's that?
My goal is quality content. It's gonna be shit that
sounds terrible. What are these other accounts?
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
I'm glad to be sober a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's Friday, man. Get your life together.
No.